Okay, it's time now. By my time, this is 8 o'clock, like we advertise on our flyer. Good evening, students and participants of this first choice accurate success link case study Preseen analysis. The long awaited Ican case study is finally here. On Thursday, September 17, 2020, it will all be over. The new syllabus, which took effect from November 2019, had provided a unique situation for people who are writing case study exams. You now have a unique opportunity of getting a sneak peek of what the exam question will be in the case of case study 2 weeks in advance in the form of the Preseen. So instead of bringing up surprises like they did in our own time, ICANN do not want you to sweat it out on exam day. They want you to write your exams with ease. Now, FCA has made it far more easier to write this case study exam with ease. Last year, November, we did this same analysis, and the result was fantastic. It gave people a boost to writing this exam, and they came out with flying colors. This diet, we promised to replicate the result we had in November and even surpass it. It all boils down to your cooperation, your attentive response to what we are going to be doing here that matters. ICANN may have changed the Preseen question from what they sent to us in March to what we have now in September, but hope is not lost. Why? Because we have a capable hand to help us in this case study analysis. Now, as I hand you over to our main lecturer, the main facilitator for this program, Mr. Ayomi Ladoku, I want to bring some rules that we have to set here. One, when you join in, please don't on your video. Don't on your video. For example, we've been canceling some videos of people who have been joining. Please don't on your video, don't on your audio. Let's not disrupt the class. If you're having any difficulty, go to the chat room where you were added to make your comment, and you will get assistance. We want everybody to pay rapt attention to Mr. Ayomi Ladoku as I hand over to him to take from here. Mr. Ayomi Ladoku, you have our attention. Over to you, sir.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My host, I want to believe you can hear me before we start.
Live and direct, clear, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody to the much awaited Preseen, ICANN Preseen case study. This is First Choice Academy. You are all welcome. And I want to believe we're going to have a very nice time together. And I'm also aware that some of us, we have a paper tomorrow, either corporate reporting or advanced taxation. So I will not take too much of your time, but obviously you should expect that we'll finish around 11 p.m. Okay, so we have listened to some of the instructions. So for us to really ourselves, we need to abide by. Okay, sorry. So we need to abide by those instructions. It's very important. Okay. So we are going to start right away. But before we start, let me remind us that it's pretty important that we are all muted on both audio and video. Okay, it's very important so that we don't really distract the class. So just put off your video. We don't really need to see you. So once you can see the lecturer, you are fine. Okay, and so that we can really manage the class effectively. And obviously, okay, I can see some videos. So just off your video, please. So don't distract the class. Okay, and if you need to ask question, then you can do that. You can do that using the chat button. Okay, I've been seeing some people saying they cannot hear. I've confirmed from my host. Since my host can hear me, so obviously that will be from your end, even though you may not even hear what I'm saying now. Okay, so in case you have technical difficulties, please chat in the group. They will quickly attend to you. All questions and clarification. I know you have so many questions, so many clarifications that you want to do. So I will attend to them at the end of the class, okay? But I might decide to check on them. But in order to really manage our time, I may not be looking at your questions frequently, okay? So I'm going to, but notwithstanding, I will give 30 minutes to address questions only. So around 10:30, I'll give about 30 minutes. So at that time, that's when you should post your question so that I can see it. You know, I've seen a lot of information already, okay? So please mute your video, please. Mute your video, all right? So that we don't really distract the class. Then I want you to really concentrate. It's quite important. Okay, so make sure you concentrate. It's very, very important. Okay. All right, so we're going to start. I still want this video to be muted, please. You just have to mute this video before we start, please. Felix, mute your video, please. It's a simple instruction. Let's mute our video. It's very simple. Thank you. Okay. Now, as usual, before we go into the Preseen, so that we are not lost in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to run through the entire case study. Okay. So that we are not, going to have issues when we start the Preseen proper. And I'll be sharing with you what I really passed through, when trying to create the unseen. I must confess, it was never easy. It was never easy. Okay, but notwithstanding, glory to God that we had a breakthrough. Okay, so I really know and I'm aware that a lot of people are really waiting for this. They are waiting for this. So we're going to see some, a breakthrough, and I'm believing God that we're going to be successful in the case. So let's take a look. I'm going to show you some background in form of a business report. How do you write? How do you really go about writing a report, financial analysis, of course, executive summary, and then we have some key considerations. Then, of course, what we have been waiting for today, we are also going to take a look. Please mute your video. Infinix Note 5 stylus, please mute your video. I'm begging. Thank you. All right, it's very important. Okay, so business case study analysis require a kind of method. Okay, require some methods. It also require technical knowledge and of course analytical skills. Okay, so that's what we should really bother about. Okay, That's what should really bother you. But that's what our business case is all about. Like I said, I won't really go deeper into all of this explanation. I just want to carry everybody along because I know a quite number of us has been under my lecture the last couple of weeks, and some people are just joining for the first time. So I don't want us to struggle. So that's why I needed to, take us through a case study scenario. Okay. So let's take a look at some background. Now, why do we still have case study in Ican curriculum? Okay, now as a chartered accountant, your unique selling point is the ability to analyze business fundamentals. Okay, and you're able to provide what's it called, a business solution. Okay, recommendation to complex business issue. Okay, and that's what we mean by making the numbers talk. Nzeakman, please put off your video. Thank you. All right. So that's what you mean by making the numbers talk. So you will appreciate the fact that if you, for example, you are reviewing a company's financials and their what's it called, revenue is improving or is growing, okay, and you give it to let's say what do you call it, other professional like the engineers, like the lawyers or the doctor, then mere seeing that revenue is growing year on year, now they conclude that the company is really performing. But an accountant will tell you the fact that revenue is improving or is growing every year does not necessarily mean that the company is performing, okay, until probably we have to carry out some analysis. And that's why, as a chartered accountant, that's why you are quite unique. And that's why you need to really appreciate the fact that we still have case study, even though I'm aware that most students, they even want case study to be eliminated. Okay, so the overall aim of case study, is to ensure that candidates like all of us can really provide, answers to complex business issues, okay, in a form of a written report. So obviously, we're going to just be writing one single report. Like I said, I won't really spend more time here. I just want to bring on everybody on the same page so that when we get into the Preseen, we are not asking too many questions. By the way, I can't remember that I mentioned my name. My name is Ayom. Okay, so in case you're just seeing me, so nice to meet you, even though I'm not seeing you. All right, and for my regular students, you're all welcome once again. Now, the case study is also designed to produce a typical situation, that you see yourself in a real life case. So if you're an auditor, you're an accountant, you're a business advisor, you're a consultant. Okay, so these are the real life case scenario that you're going to see over there, especially if you're practicing as a chartered accountant. Okay, so it's quite important. So I don't want you to see case study as as a kind of heavy duty or heavy load that is trying to bother you. Okay, because every case that we have ever seen, as far as I know, they are real life cases. Can easily trace them, to a particular company. For example, May 2017 case study exam, Ican case study, was Samsung case. November 2019 was it? I can't really remember the name of the company now. Is on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. That's Detoy Farms and Farm Produce. Okay, and of course, the case before us, obviously, is also an Ican case, right? So it's quite straightforward. So, so obviously, that is what we're going to be facing in a real life case scenario. So, so because of that, we needed work experience. If you are working, that's fantastic. If you are not really working, you should not be discouraged by that. Okay, please off your video, please, Mavis. Please off your video. Okay. So we should not be discouraged by that if you are not really working, okay? So that will not be a serious issue, okay? But notwithstanding, if you have work experience, it's going to be a really added advantage, okay? So you are aware of, there's something called business awareness. So that's the ability to be aware of internal and external issues that a company might be facing, okay? And you also have an idea of technical and functional expertise. All of this is going to be displayed when writing a report, okay? So you're not just going to that exams on Thursday and you're just doing what you feel you want to do and get out. No, you just have to be aware of what you need to do. So my job here tonight is to make your approach or your job easier, on Thursday, okay? So that's, I needed to really be at my best this evening so that I can really pour out everything in my head. Obviously, I may not be able to do that this night, okay? But I'll try, okay? Because the more I look at the reports, I've been trying to write the reports since morning. I just started writing the report this morning, okay? But the more I write it, the more I improve on it, okay? And I know by Thursday, the one I will release finally is going to be, really fantastic, okay? But the idea here is you need to have all this technical knowledge, and of course, ethics is also very important, okay? So that's why it is important that you're not just doing what you like over there. Then obviously your professional judgment is also there, okay? You make recommendations by adding value. If they are taking an action that you think is not really okay, then you put an hammer on management's decision. But in this case, we are going to be looking at the council's decision, okay? Because we are taking a look at the Charter Institute of Business Advisors, all right? Then your personal effectiveness, which stems from what you have developed over time, in writing Ican exams or curriculum, right, from your foundation or skills level, as it were. All right, so all the knowledge you have gained in your performance management, in your financial reporting, your MG and the like, so they are going to be very important when you come to case study. So the exams embraces all these skills, okay? It embraces all these skills. So that's why it is very important, okay? So let's move on because of our time. So let's move on. Sorry. So let me now give you some tips to passing case study. Okay, so that because I won't be able to come back here. You don't wait until 2 weeks to the exam like most people have done. The guy will predict again, so they don't even bother again. So that's a disaster, okay? So you don't need to wait till I can release 2 weeks, release the Preseen before start preparing. So it's something you need to prepare over time, all right? And the business case study is actually living with us. It's maybe one, even today, one way or the other, we have solved one question or the other, okay? So it's living with us. It's just if we're able to realize it. So case study exams encompasses the whole of ICANN curriculum, okay? And of course, you're also required to know your ratios, SFM and the likes, but obviously, because of the financial data part, we already have an idea of what is going to be tested. And you also need to read correspondences at workplace. Maybe that might be too late now, because I know some of you guys are on leave already. And you're just waiting for that report, and now listen to me, listen. I see a lot of messages flying, but I decided not to read it, okay? But just listen to me. I have reasons why I'm doing this, okay? I have reasons why I'm doing this. I don't want you to write case study after Thursday. I don't want you to rewrite it again. If you're going to write it, maybe in another professional exams, not ICANN, okay? So that's why I'm doing this. I know majority are just waiting on that report and cram it and just go there and point out. But I needed to show you what you need to know, because when you get there, there's no way you still needed some application of knowledge and technical expertise, all right? So that's why it's very important. So can you see we're in section 2 already, so we are not really wasting time. So how do you now write a business report? Now, the first thing you need to determine is if you are writing internal or external report, okay? I have seen so many attempts on the Preseen flying around, and the tone of those Preseen are external. Then I'm wondering, what's happening, okay? Is it the same exam we're going to write on Thursday? I'm wondering. So how is it? I don't understand. Now, if you look at Exhibit 1, you were told clearly that you are working with CIBA, that's Chartered Institute of Business Advisors, okay? So if you are working with them and you report to the finance and account director, okay? So how come it's an external report? I'm working with a company and I have their financials with me to analyze. So how is that an external report? I don't understand. So that is quite straightforward. So how do you determine whether you are writing internal report or external report? Then you ask yourself this question: who am I writing the report about? In this case, I'm writing about CIBA that I'm working with, okay? If that question is not sufficient, then you ask another question. Who will act on the report of my analysis, okay? Is it the management of my company or the management of another company? So that's how I know. So here is going to be the governing council of CIBA where I am working with. So obviously that's an internal report. So your cover page is going to be like an internal memo. That's straightforward. So don't allow anybody to confuse you that this is an external report. I don't really understand, okay? I don't really understand. So if you want to put me up on there, then put it on the chart or prove to me that CIBA is an external report. So let me see your argument around that, okay? But obviously it's an internal report, so I don't think it's something we need to drag here. And there's some other content I've been seeing flying around, that I'm going to also address at this meeting so that we are all aware. So that I don't want you to write those reports and the examiners are just laughing at chartered accountant to be. Hey, look at what they are, are producing. Okay, so I don't want them to, start laughing. You have to write something that will, give them something to think about. Okay, so that's what you are doing on Thursday. All right. So, and once you understand whether you are writing internal or external, obviously internal reports is what we are writing. Then your page one will be your cover page. Is that okay? So your page one will be a cover page. If it's going to be external report, so your page one is also a cover page, but it's going to be done like a letter-headed paper. So that's what you see here. Okay, but we are not really doing external reporting. But in external reporting, disclaimer is very important. So that's why you're seeing that disclaimer down there. This report is prepared for the board of directors of Harlem. This is just a sample, okay? So that is quite important that we need to really understand. Now, if I'm writing internal report, this is exactly the way it's going to be. So here you're going to have CIBA, or what's it called, Chartered Institute of Business Advisor, then to the governing council, okay? To the governing council, then you write your title, then prepared by. Now listen, when you get to prepared by, when it comes to internal reporting, it's either you use the name of your department or you use the name of your boss. Is that okay? Is either you use the name of your department or you use the name of your boss when it comes to internal reporting. So take that to the bank, okay? So take that to the bank. Is either you use the name of your boss, but I prefer to use the name of the department because this is what I do in practice, right? So I prefer to use the name of the department, right? So now the dates you're going to also put on there must relate to the date in the case. So for example, if I'm writing these exams on September 17, okay? So if mail has not been sent to me around September, then I have to refer to the date in the exams. Maybe the examiner is mentioning May 2020 or March 2020, which is likely going to be the case, okay? So then you just had about 2 or 3 days to the date a mail or memo was sent to you. Is that okay? So that's what you're doing around there. Then for internal reporting, now listen, that's why I'm treating this. So that when I'm explaining the Preseen that I've been waiting for, we are not asking too many questions. There is disclaimer is not compulsory. Is that okay? Disclaimer is not compulsory when I'm writing internal report. Okay, disclaimer is never compulsory. However, because I know some of my students will cram, okay, so I've tried to create a disclaimer to say this report is for internal use only. So just move away from there. So you don't need to start saying we will not accept any any liability from any. No, you don't need all of that, okay? Because it's internal report. So just say this report is for internal use only. So let's take a look at okay. So in your page 2. What's it called? Executives. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to look at my network. Okay, so in my page 2, I have my what's it called? Executive summary. Okay, I have my executive summary. Okay, the executive summary should not be. Okay, sorry. Now, the executive summary should not be more than 2 pages. That's your page 2 and 3 of your report. Then your page 4 is your introduction, okay? Your page 4 is your introduction. So that's quite instructive, okay? So you need to understand that. You need to understand that, all right? Now, let's move on. So what is now the content of my report? What is the content of my report? So you need to be with me here, okay? You need to be with me here. What is the content of my report? My page 1 is my cover page, okay? My page 1 is my cover page. Okay, just give me about 1 second. Let me check my internet connection. I think it's trying to fluctuate and I want you to really understand what I'm saying. So just give me about 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back. Thank you. Sorry. I just want to be sure I'm fine with the network. Okay, now, so my cover page is my page 1. Is that okay? The executive summary is your page 2 to 3. Then your, what's it called now? Your page 4 is where you start your introduction. Listen to me here. Be with me. I've seen so many people calling, how do I do my introduction? What about my terms of reference? Do I need to start numbering 1.0, 1.2, 1. All of that, okay? So I wonder why people are so much concerned about numbering in the report, okay? But let me try to clarify this. Under my introduction, you are doing 2 things, okay? You are doing 2 things, so you need to understand, so that when I'm reading those reports to you, it will make a lot of sense, and you already know what you're going to do on September 17th, okay? Now, under my introduction, you must do what we call linkage, okay? You must do what we call linkage. You must link your report back to the mail that was sent to you, because you are not the one that initiated the report, okay? You are not the one that initiated the report. Your boss has asked you to generate the report, carry out a financial review of the institute. Then you have to write, sequent to the mail sent to me on May 10, 2020, where I am required to carry out a financial analysis of our institute, okay? Because it's an internal report. Did you see that tone, okay? So the tone is very important. So you have to do the linkage. That's 1. Then number 2, you link your introduction, you load it with the requirement in the case, okay? You load it with the requirement in the case. For example, sequent to the mail sent to me on May 1st, 2020, where I am required to carry out a financial analysis of our institute. This report contains, then you pick your requirement 1, you just support it with conjunctions, then you go on. Then the next paragraph, you pick on requirement 2. Furthermore, the report also considers the proposal by Dalop University Business School to carry out, what's it called, the online business, whatever, you just continue like that, an evaluation of that proposal, including risk, commercial, and ethical considerations, that need to be considered. That's what you are doing in your introduction, okay? So little you wonder that how do I start my report? So that's a formula for you. So you are doing linkage, and of course, you're going to put up your requirement in that. And by the time you do that, I can assure you, you're already writing about 3 to 4 paragraphs, okay? Then I now advise that immediately apply professional skepticism, okay? Apply professional skepticism. So what do we mean by that? Now, all of this, if you don't do it, for example, professional skepticism, wider context, ethical issues, professional judgment issues and options in the case, then to record a success is going to be very difficult, okay, when it comes to case study, because that's what the examiner is looking at for, okay? Now, you apply professional skepticism, but you don't need to write professional skepticism as an header in your report, but you write introduction as an header. Is that okay? I don't need to write my professional skepticism. So what do you mean by professional skepticism? That is the attitude of the mind, the kind of questioning mind that something somewhere may be wrong. Is that okay? For example, am I giving industry data? I'm not giving. Then I exercise professional skepticism. Is the financial statement I'm reviewing, is it audited? If it's not audited, then I tell the examiner that unaudited financial results are less reliable, okay? So we have so many of them, but because of time, I may not really go deeper, okay? Then after then, you now apply or consider what we call wider context. Now be with me here. When it comes to wider context, it can be positive or negative. Is that okay? It can be positive or negative. And those are the conditions in the primary economic environment in which an entity is operating, but they don't have control over. Is that okay? Now, all those economic activity that are happening maybe in Nigeria, for example, but the entity does not really have control over. For example, COVID-19 pandemic, and in the Preseen, wider context is glaring. In fact, it's calling you. He said there was a plague around the country. So I see, after I might have done my analysis, I would have seen whether the revenue is improving or is declining. Obviously, most likely, they are going to give you 2019's account and the revenue will slide because the institute cannot conduct examinations, all right? Now, when it's declining, then I apply wider context, okay? The recent plague in the country, which has placed restriction on social gathering, business economy, might be responsible for the decline in revenue that the institute is witnessing in the current year. That's what we call wider context. There's no way you put up that to the examiner and come back and write case study. It's not possible. So that's what you are doing. So don't forget, in your introduction, I am linking it with a mail that was sent to me, okay, and I'm loading it with the requirements in the case. Then I apply professional skepticism. Then, of course, I consider wider context, okay? So that's what we are doing. Because of time, I can't really dwell much on that, okay? Because at exactly 9 p.m., we must start the Preseen, okay? And that's what I've been waiting for. Okay, that's important, okay? Now, then business analysis. Now, listen to me here. When it comes to business analysis, like I said, I've been seeing so many, attempts on the Preseen. People were asking, is it pester, is this SWOT, is this, that, okay? Now, go and read November 2019 examiner's report. I will show you when we want to start analyzing the Preseen. I will show you, okay? Once it's not in the requirement, don't even bother about using a model, okay? You are wasting time, okay? You are wasting time. Once it's not in the requirement, don't bother. If the examiner wants you to use business model, it's going to be tested in two ways. Now, listen to me. It's going to be tested in two ways. If the examiner wanted to use business model like SWOT, like PESTEL, benchmarking, balance scorecard, and the likes, two ways. It's either the examiner is specific, using SWOT analysis, okay, or using what's it called, PESTEL, okay, or the examiner gives you strategic plan that for the next 10 years for the company. If in one of the exhibits, the examiner gives you strategic plan, okay, the strategy of the company for the next 5 or 10 years, and in the requirements, it now says evaluate the possibility of the company achieving those strategic plan. Obviously, PESTEL will be applicable. That's it. So if those two scenarios are not present, either of them, then forget business analysis, okay? So that's why I'm putting it there. Use the business model only where it is stated in the requirement. So if it's not there, then you move on. I move to my financial analysis. When I come to financial analysis, I'm doing two things. I'm doing financial data analysis and financial statement analysis, okay? On my financial data analysis, it's a wide world. It's so wide, okay? You have so many things. You have your product mix, you have profitability mix, you have a dividend valuation model, you have a CAPM, capital asset pricing model. There are so many of them. So it's pretty difficult in those days before the introduction of the Preseen to really take students around the financial data. We just try to, cover as many as we can. But now, with the advent of the Preseen, it's quite straightforward. So we are already seeing the flashlights of where our financial data analysis is going to come from. Obviously, it's going to be evaluation of the business proposal from Dialog business university or university business school. Okay, so we are already seeing the flashlight already. Okay, so that's quite straightforward. Now, for financial statement analysis, they are that's the component of financial statement. Okay, now for example, you have your statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and your statement of financial position. Then how do you analyze? You either use ratios, you use trend, you use common size, or what we call working capital management. Okay, so that's how you analyze your financial statement analysis. Okay, that's how you carry it out. So you use all those tools to do your financial statement analysis. Is that okay? So that's what you are doing here. Do ratio, do common size, which other one? Horizontal analysis, vertical analysis, and of course, working capital management. Now listen, when you are doing financial analysis, because this is your requirement one, okay? This is your requirement one. So what happens here? And that is 32 marks. Your requirement one is 32 marks. Your requirement two is 32 marks. That is 64 already. Your executive summary is 20 marks. Your ethical consideration is 10 marks. Then overall, you apply professional skepticism, you do professional judgment and the likes, your presentation carry the other marks, okay? So you cannot afford to miss out when it comes to financial analysis. That's why I normally take time to explain what you need to do here. So listen to me. When you're analyzing your financials, you're going to do 4 things, okay? When you're analyzing your financials, you're going to do 4 things. Number one, you tell the examiner what has happened. For example, you're analyzing revenue. As my revenue increased, then you tell the examiner by what percentage, okay? As it declined, you also tell the examiner, my revenue has declined. Okay, that's what has happened. Then number 2, that carries higher mark, okay, is the reason for revenue increase or decline, okay? What has made my revenue to increase and what has made my revenue to probably decline, okay? So that is quite instructive. So you need to understand that, okay? Then what is the impact of the revenue increase or decline on my financial or my operating performance, okay? So if my revenue is increasing, okay, what is the impact on my business operation? If it's declining, what is the impact? Okay, obviously, that lot of revenue will be declining because of the plague in the country. All right. So, what will be the impact on the operations? Then, number 4, you make recommendation. Recommendation either to sustain the increase in revenue if it is increase, you have said, or decline in revenue. That's to improve on the decline in the revenue if revenue is actually declining. So, those are the 4 things you are doing when it comes to financial analysis. Is that okay? So, that's very important. Then, if you have done that, you now go to other specific requirements in the case, which in this case is going to be evaluation of the business proposal, okay? It's going to be the evaluation of the business proposal. So that's quite instructive. So this is a content already for you. Even by the time you see this, without the Preseen, without me taking you the Preseen, you are good to go, Abby, okay? Don't let me cause trouble. Okay, now the next one is your ethical issues and of course your business trust. Ethical issue is very important. Ethical issue is not professional skepticism. Ethical issue is not wider context. I've seen people asking me questions around that. Okay, so we need to understand. We need to understand. Okay, we need to understand that. So ethical issues, you know, when you say ethics, it's about what is right or what is wrong. Okay, for example, there are unresolved issues with external auditors. So those are ethical issues, ethical concerns, pressures by the management to inflate reported profit or revenue. It's an ethical issue. So there are so many of them. So we can't go deeper. I'm just trying to scan through so that you understand how case study works. Then other matters in the case. If you have risk management issues, if it's not in the requirement, then you can bring it on. You have corporate governance issue, okay? You can also bring it on. I'm going to talk about this when you get into the case. I'll clarify so many things tonight. Then you make your conclusion, of course, your recommendations and your closing remark, then your appendix. But don't forget, you are starting your appendix first. Because if you don't do your appendix, how do you carry out your analysis? That means you read so many pages of your script, but possibly you just go to the middle of your answer script and start your analysis, then before you now come to the case. So let's take a look at section 3. Can you see? We are moving so fast. I have just 20 minutes to cover everything that is there. I may even spend less. Okay, so this is how to downwrite a good report. So this is an extra. Can you see the requirement? It said evaluate, carry out an evaluation of potential challenges to highlight posed by the development of disruptive technology. So this is how you do it. Can you see? on my own left hand side. I'm not sure whether it's on your left on your right hand side. Can you see the cover page over there? Now in your exams, you will not write cover page. Is that okay? So you just start from that box. All right. So that's exactly what you're doing. Internal memo or internal memorandum, or as it were, the way you want to call it. Okay. I've seen some people asking me, what about to from? You know, the way you normally write internal memo, to from date then subject. Okay. Yeah, that is very still applicable when it comes to real life scenario, okay? But this is the format that Ican wanted. So just follow Ican's format, okay? You don't need to really deviate from that. If you do that particular format and you do well in your analysis, it doesn't mean you will not pass. Is that okay? So, but just follow their format. Now, your cover page is 1 mark. You heard me right. It's 1 mark. So I don't know why you want to want to fight around the format of the cover page. It's 1 mark. I've seen some people, they will say, since my boss is asking me to write a report, you know, to be submitted to the managing director, do I need to first write a kind of a small report to say, find attach? You are wasting time. It will not fetch you 0 mark. Even 0 mark in the exam, it will not fetch you. You're just wasting time. Nobody bothers about that. What you need to bother about is your analysis, okay? So if you have scored 15, 7, 10, or whatever in case study, is your analysis you need to bother about. It's not about I need to do table of content, I need to do research methodology. Is it proposal we are doing your research? No. Okay, you are analyzing complex business issues. You are bothering about table of content. Is it table of content you're going to do? I saw some reports, you know, on this Preseen. I was really angry. Sometimes I'll just be laughing. I'm seeing some people say, I'm going to write about company's background. Now, listen to me. Does it make sense to us? You are working with Chartered Institute of Business Advisors. You are writing to your governing council, and you are telling the governing council the year that SIBA was established, 1975 or 1979, what is that? And you are telling them, you are wasting time. Why you be writing company's background? Is in your requirements? Okay, so you don't really need to argue around this. If you read it in a book, I'm standing here. I know this video will go so wide, okay? Then come and pick it up with me. That if you are writing internal reporting, then you'll be writing about company's background. For what? Is that the requirement? Is that what you're doing? We know it already. Don't tell us, okay? So bother about your analysis, all right? Bother about how you compose a nice report. You have your 50, 55, 70 or whatever, and you move on, okay? So that's the issue here. And I'm going to be showing you that. So that's why I'm doing all this. We're not really wasting time. I don't want you to rewrite this paper. This is FCA, okay? This is First Choice Academy. We are so passionate about you passing. That's why we are doing everything possible, okay? So that you can pass, all right? So that's what you're doing around your introduction. So what happens around my professional skepticism? I don't know, I was mentioning it earlier, but because of time, I won't be able to go over it, okay? So lucky for you if you are just writing case study or probably 2 papers, you have the material, you have enough time to, you know, go through them. So these are examples of your ethical issues and of course, what's it called? Professional skepticism. Obviously, all of this cannot feature in a case scenario, but most of them is going to feature. So once you learn them, then which one is applicable to maybe SIBA that we are writing, okay? So that's it. So I think, okay, I even give some example here. Can you see? Information provided in the case is not accurate. So that is that possibility. You exercise professional skepticism around that. Can you see that? Okay. Then unaudited financial statement, there are so many of them. Financial statement status unknown. Now listen, for SIBA for Chartered Institute of Business Advisors, okay, you know, we're giving summary of financial statement. It's different from financial statement itself, and it's also different from management accounting, okay, or management report or management account. We are giving summary, okay. So here you don't even go into, you know, exercise professional skepticism as to whether that financial summary is audited or not. It could have been applicable if it is an external report. Don't forget you are working with SIBA, so you're expected to know in reality whether that statement has been audited or otherwise. Is that okay? So we may not really try to apply professional skepticism around the status of financial sum. Okay, now we tell data information what happens. Okay, so we have so many of them, like I would say, industry comparative data not giving. You can do this in the in CBA case. Okay, most likely if you are not giving industry data when you get to the unseen, then you can exercise professional skepticism. Unresolved issues with external editors are an ethical issue, right? Market share data not provided, so you have so many of them. So can you say we are moving very fast? So I have talked about business analysis earlier on. Okay, so we don't need to waste time because in CBA there is no model you are using. Yeah, you heard me right. So don't bother about what's it called, business model, sort of test. Nothing is applicable. If it's applicable, I would have told you because I spent a lot of time creating the unseen for organ specialist hospital. Okay, and there are a number of SWOT analysis around there. Okay, but here there's nothing that is really there. Okay, and so this is issues and options and all of that. So we have so many of them. Then I've also talked about financial analysis. Remember, so you use ratio, you use trend. Of course, the ratio we're going to be using here is quite abnormal. Okay, it's not the regular ratio that we are used to. Okay, so I'll be showing you that when we get to that corner. Okay, now so I've told you what to do when it comes to financial analysis. So that's what I'm also explaining here. So because of time, I'm just trying to scan through them. Okay, comparison with industry data if you are giving. So what do? You know, this is a whole Ican curriculum when it comes to case study, right? Okay, so analyzing the balance sheet, sorry, is also there. Now, let me briefly explain executive summary before we move on. Okay, now after you have written your report, then you now come to your executive summary. A lot of students makes a lot of mistakes when it comes to executive summary. You still seeing them saying revenue increased by between 15% and 20%, or from 25% to 30% in the executive summary. No, that is analysis. You don't do analysis in executive summary. Executive summary is a condensed version of your report. Is that okay? After you have written 10-page report, then you now come to executive summary and summarize it in just 2 pages. That is your executive summary. Okay, now listen. Executive summary is not an abstract. Executive summary is a stand-alone document that when your reader reads it, he understands what is in the report without going inside a report. That's it. All right, he can understand when he reads it, he knows what has happened. So how do you now create an executive summary in that manner? Okay, so that should bother you, not table of contents. Okay, so that should bother, because go and read the Preseen, that introduction before the main Preseen. You see what the examiner is saying there. The executive summary is very important, and it is 20 marks. Okay, it is 20 marks, and you have 4 hours. So how do you really manage your time? I'll be showing you how to also manage your time in the exam when we get to that corner. Is that okay? Now, when you are writing executive summary, listen to me. You don't use first person pronoun. Don't forget, when I was telling you about introduction the other time, I said sequel to the mail sent to me. That's a pronoun, right? Now, when you come to the executive summary, you don't say that. You don't say me. You don't say hi. You don't say we, us. Okay? So if you have seen my material before, I gave so many examples of executive summary, how to really go about that. But obviously, I can't really explain more because of time. Okay? But what you should understand is when you're writing executive summary, you don't say I, we, you, hi, and all of that. Okay, so it has to be formal. Okay, then you need to tell the examiner what you are doing, methods of analysis, your key findings. You summarize it. Okay, what has happened? For example, all ratios calculated decline throughout the 5 years period. That's it. So you don't need to start saying revenue increase from 15% to 37%. No. Okay, so what happened? All right, so when we get there, we might see some examples. Okay, now so that's what you're having there. So you have all those information that this is not a deep analysis. So that's why. So this is an example. Can you see? This is an example. Okay, this is an example. This is an example of the exam. Let me read this so that you get what I'm saying. Findings. Result of the analysis shows that all ratios are below industry average. Maybe in this case, we have been given industry average. Also, comparative performance is poor in the areas of profit margins, liquidity, credit control, and inventory management. Can you see that? So that's your executive summary. You're just summarizing whatever might have happened in your case scenario. Okay, okay, so that's what you are doing there. That's what you are doing there. Okay, now let's move on. Let's move on because of time. So you have so many things there. So obviously, this is summarized way of doing your exercise. We talk about limitation. You are based on Ican requirement. You talk about subject matter, methods of analysis. You also state your assumptions. All right. What's your reservation? For example, skepticism. Okay. You also do that. Okay. So that's very instructive. And of course, you summary of your key findings, conclusions, and of course, recommendations. Okay. So that's it. So these are the life scenarios. So I can't go through this because of time. So I'm just scanning through. So these are life scenarios. This document is quite is it wealthy now? It's very rich. Okay, because I carefully prepared it. Okay. Now, what are the other key considerations in the case? Okay. We have so many of them, but I think I've been mentioning them. Okay, I've been mentioning them. Okay, so when you are analyzing your case study or case scenario, you must identify issues. All right, then options. Now there are issues in Dialog university business schools. All right, and there are also options when it comes to CBAC. All right, but let me give you an example so that you understand issues and options. I've explained professional skepticism. Of course, I've talked about analysis, professional judgment, evaluation, and conclusion. So the recommendation. So let me talk about issues and options in the next 2-3 minutes. Now, let's say your company is having liquidity problems, all right? You needed to raise money to finance your operations, okay? Pay salaries, honor your obligations, and all of that. Then you are looking at how do we raise money. So in that case, then you are looking at the options available, okay? Should we raise money by way of equity or option or what? Debt, right? Now, if we want to raise money by way of equity, there are issues. Okay, that's what they call issues. So there are issues. Issues can be what would be the reaction of the shareholders? Okay, should we offer them rights issue so that we can raise money? If you're going to offer them rights issue, okay. Now, if you go for debt, that means we are trying to increase our what's it called? Our gearing level. Okay, so that's an issue. So what are the options available? So that's it. So that's what we call issues and options. So because we are not really taking deeper cases, so I won't be able to go much deeper. But I just want you to understand what is it all about. All right. So that's it. So you have so many information around there. So you can take a look, but time will not really permit us. Then you have options. Also brought out some issues around it. The professional skepticism, then I've also, we've taken a look at that. So let's just move on. Evaluation, weighing options, all right? If you go here, what will be the implication if you go there? In case study, there are no right answers or wrong answers, right? It's your ability to be able to defend whatever whatever position you have put up with to the examiner, okay? But notwithstanding, you have to tell them what is reasonable, okay? So then you have judgment. You need to judge. If you cannot do judgment, then it's a serious issue. Now, when you're writing your conclusion, now listen, okay? So I remember some questions that people have been asking. Some people have asked me, maybe your Ican pack, they will say conclusion requirement 1, conclusion requirement 2. Is that okay? Recommendation requirement 1, recommendation requirement 2. Okay, in your report, you are not doing that. All right, you have one conclusion, you have one recommendation. In your conclusion, okay, you conclude on requirement 1. You can separate conclusion on requirement 1 and conclusion on requirement 2 by way of paragraph. You don't say conclusion requirement 1, conclusion requirement 2, so that students can understand how conclusion should look like. That was why it was broken down in your Ican pack. Is that okay? So don't say conclusion requirement 1, conclusion requirement 2. Just separate them by way of paragraph, okay? And when you are writing your conclusion, it should be in narrative form, just the way you've been writing your report. Then you are concluding, okay? Then when you come to recommendation, of course, it's going to be in bullet form. You are not writing stories. What action should be taken, okay? On whatever findings you have seen. Okay, so that's how you do your conclusion. So you have recommendation, blah, blah, blah. So I just explained them. Okay. So obviously, let's see. Okay, so we are in section 8. This is what we have been waiting for. Okay, so if you have not been listening to me, or you have been having network issues, just pray. Network should not go away now. Okay, so analysis of Ican Preseen. Okay, so this is just a general review. Remember to exercise professional skepticism. Remember ethical issues. All right, never to present your executive summary, and don't waste your time in the appendix. All right, so I will tell you how to really manage your time when we get there. All right, thank you very much for the first section. Okay, so this is very interesting. All right, so I want to believe, right? Did you enjoy yourself? Okay, so let's take a look. Let me see whether I can bring on the main project for the day. Okay. But before we start, let me take a look at the comment. Let me see whether I needed to clarify one or two things. Let's see. I'm not really too sure. Let me find out. Okay. Someone is saying I should speak louder. How? My host says they can hear me. I'm just saying this. I hope it's better now. Okay. Okay, I saw so many people, they can't really see. Oh, wow, sorry, they can't really hear. I want to believe they can hear now. Okay, I want to believe they can hear now. Oh, okay, thank you, my host. I can see I've been trying to address all these issues that centers around the, what's it called? You're hearing. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think there's no question for me. Thank you. Okay, please explain suggested paragraph style. Oh, thank you. That's a very nice question. Now use block format, right? Use block format. Block format is you are trying to, you use the is quite close to your margin line, all right? So you start exactly under the introduction. You're not shifting your hand inside before you write. That's indent, okay? So don't do indent, all right? Do block format, because if you do indent, that means you will require a ruler to be sure that your line is straight anytime. Just the way, don't worry, when I show you the report, just the way the report is, that's the way you write. It's okay, all right? Then I see somebody asking about cover letter 2. Please off your video, please. Okay, to the council members or the president. They will tell you now, they will tell you. So let's get there. Okay, but it will be the governing council. Okay, but they will tell you, okay, in the case it's there. All right, so you can easily determine that. What date did you suggest we should use on the cover page? Check the date your boss sent you a mail in the case. For example, if your boss sent you, let's say May 2, 2020, they had about 3 days to that date, let's say May 5, okay? So it has to relate to the case, that's it, right? Please explain wider context. If you are still asking these questions, right, we won't go further. I spent time to do that. Plague in the case is a wider context. So it can have positive or negative impact on a company's operations, but you don't really have control over them, okay? So what those events that are happening or that is happening outside the company's operations, what is happening within us is internal. What is happening outside there? That's wider context, right? So it's happening there, is there, so it's happening, right? So, and it's affecting our operation, then you call it, that's wider context, right? So let's move on. Okay, now here we go. So I think we are ready. So this is what we have as per the Preseen, okay? About you, John Adepoju, your employer. Can you see that? About you, John Adepoju, and your employer, Chartered Institute of Business Advisor. That's the internal report. Because the financials that I see is also relating to my company. And obviously, that's what I'm going to analyze. So what's now the argument around whether it's external report or not? Then Exhibit 2 talks about Chartered Institute of Business Advisors that I'm working with. Can you see that? So now, Exhibit 3, Chartered Institute of Business Advisors, 4-year financial summary. Okay, so that's it. So, and this is what I'm going to analyze. So, how is that an external report? I don't still understand, right? Request from management of Dalhousie University's business school. That's Exhibit 4. Okay, and of course, Exhibit 5, extract from the 21st President acceptance speech. Okay, now, unlike the previous Preseen, let's say the other specialist hospital and Detoy Farm and Farm Produce, right? The Preseen is quite loaded, but here is quite scanty, and that's why I think it's it was very difficult for students to probably navigate around here. Okay, so but let me tell you something. This case is actually very straightforward. Okay, it's straightforward. It's going to be straightforward. That's why we're having scanty information on the Preseen. Okay, because if they put too much information, then obviously everybody will see where the examiner is thinking. But then, despite the fact that it's straightforward, it's also giving the examiner a kind of liberty, to direct this case wherever they want to. Okay, and that's why for the very first time, it was very difficult for me to create a possible unseen, okay? Because I was just thinking, what would be the mind of the examiner? So what I've tried to do is to create a worst case scenario, okay, of the unseen. That's the most difficult case, the most difficult issue that you might face on Thursday. And if you learn the worst case scenario, it can't be tougher than this, right? So if you now see a lesser unseen, then you are fine. Then you just be smiling in the exam hall. Even before you start writing, you are passed already. Okay. Okay. So that's it, right? So that's what I've done. So let me now show you my unseen. Now, Exhibit 6. Okay. Exhibit 6, you're going to see correspondence from Frank Ebuka to John Adepoju. Is that okay? So who is Frank? That's my boss. So where is talking to me about what I'm to do. Then Exhibit 7, you're going to see proposed contract terms with Dalhousie University Business School. They just told us that they want to contract the online, master's program, okay? But they still give us the term. So I just try to create some things around here. Obviously, it might be similar to what you're going to see, but I'll show you how to really go about that. Then your Exhibit 8, you're going to see email from Frank Ebuka to you, John Adepoju. That's where you have your requirements, okay? Then 10, expect Chartered Institute of Business Advisors financial summary for 2019 and budget, okay? Like I said, this is a worst case scenario. So if you don't see budget, then you are fine, all right? But if I don't teach you how to comment on budget, you are not going to prepare budget. I don't think you're going to prepare budget. Do you know why? You're going to prepare, you're going to evaluate the business proposal. You're going to evaluate revenue streams. You're going to evaluate the institute's performance. Then preparing budget again no. In fact, if they give you one day, you can't finish that case. So obviously you won't prepare budget. Okay. But how do you, in case you are giving information about budget, how do you really make comments around that? So that's why I'm including budget in case you see it, and if you don't see it, for people that will cram, because I know some people will cram. So don't go and start writing budget or variance or whatever in that case, okay? So, but I needed to put it, like I said, this is a worst case scenario, right? Then your Exhibit 11, I know some of you are doing screenshots. You don't need to do screenshots. You have it. You have it. Okay, you have it. But I'm not okay. But no way. I don't want to say this now. But you have it, right? So don't do screenshots, right? Okay, don't do screenshots. Now, Exhibit 11, you're going to see additional information on CBA's financial statement. Is that okay? They just gave us the financial summary. So you now see the additional, and that's the note to the account. So if you are not giving the note to the account, then exercise professional skepticism, right? Exercise professional skepticism, but obviously you're going to be given. Then exhibit 12. This was quite interesting, all right? And this is the way I think the examiner is also thinking. Summary of events that affected Chartered Institute of Business Advisors' performance in the year. So you might likely say, how did I create it? I don't know. Like I'll tell my student in physical class, when they bring it, so I'll just write it the way that I brought it. So who are the people that are bringing it? I don't know. Then exhibit 13, you will now see Chartered Institute of Business Advisors, highlights of strategic financial projections, all right? So that's it. So let's now take a look at all of them. Now, before we go do that, let me give my advice on timing, on how to really talk about how to really manage your time. Okay. Now, here they say reading 1 hour, then planning and calculations 1 hour, drafting report 2 hours. Okay. Now, let me ask you, after you had a Preseen for 2 weeks, you still want to go there and read for 1 hour? Why? Haba. So what are you doing now? Even if you are preparing for the 5 papers, right? Just take time. Although the exam is near, but I wish I've seen you 2 weeks ago to tell you this, although I told my people over there, right? So take time to read this over and over and play with the figures to the extent that you can produce those figures. Then when you get to the exams, so I think I saw some students asking some questions that, what if I can't change the case in the exam? It's not possible. That's integrity issue. It's not. Nobody forced Ican to introduce Preseen, even though we know is what is obtainable in ACAO. Okay, we are doing ACAO exams. That's the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. That's what is obtainable there. Okay, so they are using their style, so nobody forced them. So why will they change it? Read and read and read and read to the extent that you can produce those exhibits. Then you get into that exam, you only require around 15 to 20 minutes to read the unseen. Just go straight to the unseen. Now, together with this report or this analysis you're going to be getting, okay, you only require about 5 to 10 minutes in the exam to tweak yourself into the case. That's it. So instead of using that 1 hour, maximum you are using 30 minutes. That's it. So that's how to plan. So you needed to plan before you get into that exam. What exactly am I going to do? Because if you really know what you are doing in case study, you can't get there and that 4 hours will be enough. You heard me right. Okay. If you have written case study before and 4 hours was like 40 days, 40 nights for you, that means you don't know what you're doing. That's the meaning. You don't even know what to do. But after this class, I can bet it with you. If you know what you are doing, which you are going to know what you are doing, that 4 hours will be like 4 minutes. Heard me right. In fact, after case study on Thursday, you can write to me and say what you said was correct because you know what you are doing. And if care is not taken, you will not finish. Okay? So that's why you need to practice, you need to plan, and you must touch on your executive summary. Okay? You must touch on your executive summary, even if you may not be able to probably complete it. So use about 20 to 30 minutes maximum to read the unseen. Then you start your planning and calculation. Try to use 1 hour. I know that 1 hour is quite it's so small, but you just have to try. Okay, you just have to try. I will show you all possible appendix that you can calculate, but obviously don't be too how would I call it now? Don't be too greedy to say you want to calculate all those appendices. Like I said, I'm giving you worst case scenarios. All right, so don't be too greedy to say you want to calculate all those appendices. Just select the one you are comfortable with or that will help you in your analysis. Go there, calculate it within 1 hour. Then you have 2.5 hours left. Use 2 hours to draft your report. Then you have 30 minutes for your executive summary. So that's how to go about it. Is that okay? So that's how you go about it. So you just have to plan, okay? You just have to plan from now, not when you get into that exam. So when you are getting there, you already know, what you really want to do. So we are all aware already of Exhibit 1. Infinix Note 5, please, off your video. I've been trying to put you off from here every time. Don't risk the risk of being removed from this lecture, please. Off it. Let me stop you again. I'm stopping it from here. So that's done. So please, we don't really need to see you. Please don't distract the class. Thank you. Now, we have Exhibit 1 already. So you are John Adequate, final year trained trial accountant, and working, can you see, working as a what's it called, the manager, finance. Okay, this is not allowing me to see that. Okay, working as manager finance as the secretary of the Charter Institute of Bankers, Business Advisors. Okay, and you report, can you see, you report to the finance and the account director of the institute. Can you see that? So that's an internal report, right? So they gave you your responsibilities. Okay, now this is quite instructive, but I don't want to spend time on that. Okay, but it's very instructive. Now Exhibit 2 talks about about SIBA. Okay, now they had you see, let me tell you one thing. See, in case study, every information you see in those exhibits, they are very important. I know a lot of people that would have been wondering, why do I need, when SIBA was set up? They know. In real life, if you are working with this company, you would have known. But because it's an exam scenario, that's why it's given. Now, the examiner does not expect it to reproduce the company's history and start telling them, no, that's not the reason. But the reason here on this Exhibit 2 is to take a look at the vision of the institute and the mission statement. Don't forget, one of your responsibility is to evaluate strategic business proposals and see whether they align with the mission and vision of the institute. So they are very instructive. Those information are not there for ceremony, or it's just there to make the case study question lengthy. No, they have reasons. Even though you may not quote all this information here verbatim in your analysis, but obviously it's going to impact on your analysis. Is that okay? It's going to impact on your analysis. Now, they now give us information about council and management. They are training members, proven records and all of that. Okay, the most senior member is okay. Let me take a look at this. Okay, I think at this point I can address this issue. All right, I can address this issue. The most senior member of the council is usually appointed as the president of the institute and has a 2-year term. The president has no executive power, as he or she is just a ceremonial president. I have seen so many comments around here, okay? And I'm wondering, a lot of people say this is a weakness. A lot of people say this is an ethical issue. And I'm wondering, in fact, seriously, I'm confused, okay? What is the meaning of a ceremonial president? Some people say it's a figurehead president, okay? Now, between you and I, this is an Ican case in real life, right? Between you and I, are you saying your Ican president is figurehead? No, that's not what they are saying, okay? That's not what they are saying. So you are going to be writing a figurehead president as an ethical issue in that exams? No. He said the president has no executive power. What it means is all the council members are the same. The president cannot take a decision on his own. That's the meaning. But because in a setup, you needed to have a leader. That's why you now have a president. That's why it's the ceremonial president. It's not a figurehead. Okay? So don't put that up. I've seen so many things that people are writing. You need to understand this. Okay? It's not. They are the same. Like the president of the country can take certain decisions without the ratification of the National Assembly. Is that okay? But here, is the ceremonial president means he can't. Okay? He presents everything. That's why if you see they said they have committees and all of that. Okay? So you don't have that veto power. That's it. So when you say figurehead, how? Okay? So we need to understand all of this. So they give us the secretary is structured, finance and account, technical membership, and all of that. Okay, so they give us, they are very important as well, and they also give us key people that at key position within the institute. Okay, we have finance and account. You can see your boss there. It's also there, right? So that's your boss, at least as this case is concerned. So they give us membership. Okay, they write membership membership through examination, other programs, that's NCE, Academy for Business Advisors, business seminars, okay? Which other one? Then he gave us revenue streams. Now here, this is telling me that you are going to analyze revenue streams. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. You can't, my people, you can't. In fact, let me tell you one thing. This is the area that gave me the toughest time, okay? This is the area that gave me the toughest time. When I see this and I look at that account, it's not linking together. They only give us, what's it called now in the account? Subscriptions and fees and subscription, okay? So they sum it up because it's a financial summary. That is the trick that the examiner has withdrawn. You know, if he has given us all the information about revenue stream, in fact, we would have done so many calculation, manipulation, and all of that, okay? But they know what they are doing. You know, I told you earlier, they know what they are doing. So this is what, in fact, I used about 3 days to decipher what the examiner is trying to play around here. But thank God I had breakthrough, okay, around Thursday last week. So I had breakthrough. So I even did the report this morning, okay, because I know that report is not really the issue. The issue is to create a possible unseen, okay, and do the analysis. And creating an unseen when you don't even have information is not, if you put on a CIBA on the internet, you won't see anything because it doesn't exist in real life, okay? So it's quite quite dicey. However, because I'm a business analyst, so I could see the wall. You know, the person will give you some flashlight. Then you start thinking, what could be? That was exactly what I did in November 2019, and it was the same. So when they get to the exam, they just saw it. In fact, a lot of people can't report it. They also, reproduce it like that and all of that. Okay. Now they now gave us development in the country. So this is a wider context. That's what I'm saying. Okay. This is a wider context. They said there's a real plague that cause of obviously this COVID-19. Okay. But they don't want to call it COVID-19. They just say real plague. So learn that word. All right. Real plague. So don't use COVID-19. So don't use COVID-19 in the exams, right? So use plague, use the word plague, and don't use profit, all right? Because this is a not-for-profit organization. You use surplus. Instead of loss, you use deficit. Is that okay? So that's what you use. So make sure you are conversant with all those terminologies before your exams, all right? So so they gave us, can you see, I'm pretty sure they didn't finish that story, okay? I'm pretty sure, most likely, they didn't finish that story. Now, they now gave us Exhibit 3. So by now, you should be able to produce all these figures, okay? If you really have the time. I know some of you guys are very busy, okay? You're working, you're so busy. In fact, you just want to squeeze time to write this exam. And I'm also sure that some people are seeing this PC for the first time. So it's possible, right? Sorry, I play a lot, right? I'm just trying to, make you to be in a good mood. So you don't need to be too serious. Case study, SFM on Wednesday, see you tomorrow morning. Okay, so don't worry, go take control. So I'm just trying to lighten the mood, right? And I play a lot, really, in real life, right? So this is real life too now. I'm just on camera. Okay, so we are giving these figures, right? Now, then we are also giving, can you see statement of income and expenditure? Because it's a not-for-profit making. If it's not, they would have said statement of profit or loss account and other comprehensive income. Is that okay? So that's it. All right. Now, we are still looking at the Preseen, right? So I'll still show you the details of the unseen. Okay. Now we now have this request from Dialog. Okay. Now listen, there are some things that are very instructive here. That will be the component of the evaluation. So let me quickly show you. Okay. Let me quickly show you. I don't really have time. I plan to have highlighted them before this class, but I was busy with that report, right? So I couldn't do that. But let me try to locate them. Okay, so they have a meeting with Dialog, is interested in contracting, running of business school. Okay, so that's what they want to do now for a period of 5 years. Can you see that? That is interesting. So you need to take notes for a period of 5 years. So this statement gave me some thinking, because that evaluation is going to be, okay, let me say something here. I also saw some reports. I saw some people calculating payback period, NPV calculation, I was like, this is not a project. Oh my goodness. This is not a project. Can you see? It is a contract to run what's it called? A business school for Dallop University. They are the one contracting it out. What it means is for SIBA, we are not putting an outlay. Okay, it's only when you are putting an outlay, a capital or an investment. That's when you think about which investment appraiser should I use before I venture into that project. So how come you are now calculating payback period? For goodness sake, how? I can't really place it in my head. That's it. I can't. How? And these are the things that most of them will just sit on, and they get there and they are struggling and all of that. I'm pretty sure this report, by the time you see all this, the evaluation I've tried to do around here, even though it may not be 100% because I don't know what is happening, okay, but obviously it's going to give you a pathway to give you a kind of spotlight on what you're going to do in the exam. So it's 5 years, right? Now that 5 years, like I said, gives me a serious concern, but I prepared a worst case scenario to say that they will give you those, some data, some analysis, you carry out some analysis on those data for 5 years so that you see the revenue streams or the tuition fee, from this business, the cost and all of that. Then you now calculate contribution analysis. That's it. You calculate contribution. Don't forget, now, it's logic. Because of the plague, the institute revenue is declining. I'm telling you, they will bring on 2019's account, right? So the profit, the revenue will come down. Then they have an opportunity to improve on their revenue streams because they can't conduct exams, right? So they have an opportunity for this project, right? So for this business proposal. So how will this business proposal improve on our revenue streams? That's what they are looking for. It's just logic, right? It's just logic. So now said, during the period, we expect that, they are just saying stories there. Now, it now said that your institute will be responsible for providing tuition material, can you see, and faculty what? Members. Now, in the unseen, they will give you the costs of tuition material and faculty member, as it were. Okay, you will now consider let me quickly show you here. It said the profit sharing. Okay, it said it is agreed that the tuition fee, not even the profit, can you see, is payable by the student of the school, be shared ratio 4:6. Did you see that? So when you are now doing contribution analysis, after you have done the overall appraisal, okay, you look at the tuition fee, whatever rates they have given you. I'll show you what I've tried to simulate. Is that okay? Whatever rate they have given you or whatever, okay, you now calculate 4. Okay, that means 4 will go to the university and 6 will go to the institute. So you now say 6/10 multiplied by whatever figure you get. So what you have is coming to the institute, okay? So what you have is coming to the institute. So here, you will now consider from that money, the cost of providing tuition fee, faculty members. Can you see? They now say the school will be run on online, whatever. You will be responsible. Can you see that? You will be responsible for designing and installing online platform. Did you see? So they will also give you information on this, probably the cost. Then you also consider it. That's the contribution you're doing. And see whether at the end of the day it's going to be worthwhile. Okay? And see whether at the end of the day it's going to be worthwhile. Let me now give you a joker here. Let me give you a joker. As many candidates would have think that, for example, let me tell you, this project is going to be viable, okay? Or let me say this business proposal, whatever figure they are giving is going to be viable. And it's going to assist the institute, in achieving their strategic financial projection. But let me give you a joker. Most candidates, if you did not listen to this lecture, you would have advised the institute that they should take up this project. But I'm standing here that they cannot. Do you know why? This project is not in line with the institute's mission. Go and read it again. I was telling you, SB2. I was saying, yeah, go and read it again. Most analysts have been saying asset. How? Is that what they are set up for to do? Are they making profit? Is it a profit-making venture? That's the institute. Okay. Okay, forget SIBA. Is Ican a profit-oriented organization? Do you see that? Even though it's going to be viable, okay? So that's it. And that's the joker. So it's going to raise a lot of ethical issues around image, around reputation. And that's your requirement too. Okay? That's your requirement too. Now, the way I'm talking, it looks as if I've seen the question. I have not seen the question. But it's just, it's logical, right? It's logical. You can't really see, much differences from the unseen from what took me, for the first time. The last time is just 3 days. I used 3 days to create the unseen, but this one, almost 7 days. For what? Go. But let's move on. Let's move on. Now, listen. Now, here, let me show you something here. I just saw it. Now, let me show you something here. See, here, you need to be careful. This is a 3 program. So when you are doing your analysis, okay, depending on the information you have been given, you might need to do multiplication. They might also give you analysis around semester, year, and all of that. So I'll show you anyway. So you might need to multiply this, multiply by that, and all of that. So that's it. So all this information are not just there for just lying found, okay? And this is the Institute President's speech, okay? They want to grow the Institute Financial Indicator by 25%. Obviously, the plague in the country do not allow, okay? So that's it, okay? So that's it. So you have and they are very vital. What is there? So let's now go to the unseen now. So let's go to the unseen. All right, so this is the correspondence you should expect. So let me quickly read. I know you are under work pressure, but there is another issue which I need your input. The Governing Council is seriously considering a request. Don't do screenshot now. What was it? Now, the Governing Council is seriously considering a request from management of Dialogue University Business School to contract the running of its business school to our institute for a period of 5 years. What I need from you is to assess the strategic business opportunity as contained in Exhibit 4 and 7, okay, and determine if it aligns with the Institute's mission, its impact on business and professional risk, and highlight any technical issues and concerns that might interest the council members. Did you see that? Okay. The contract information has been compiled based on meeting we had at our secretariat yesterday with the management of Dialogue University Business School. The Governing Council wants some preliminary feedback by next Wednesday, so you may have to do a bit of work this weekend. We may have to compute contribution analysis. Okay, I still need to adjust that. I'm just typing, so that's why I've not really adjusted that. Okay, we might have to compute contribution analysis for the council members on the new business proposal. They'll probably want to know if business proposal will assist the institute, to achieve its financial projections. Anyway, happy reading, and I look forward for your inputs next week. You got Frank. So that's your boss, right? Okay. So this is the proposal. This is what I have drafted. Okay. This is what I think. So this is a worst case scenario. It's a 5-year period. So they can give you the 5 years. Okay. So they give you the tuition fee. They'll give you lecturer's fee per class. Okay. They can also give you examination expenses. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to, bring on some things. Okay. Then the online platform, they told us that already. Direct operating cost, that's setup costs, indirect operating costs per class. Then estimated number of students, okay, number of lecturers per program. Can you see that? So this will influence on your calculation. So that's what I've done. Then other information, the contract will commence on 1st October 2020. Registration fee is 15,000 per session. I'm just simulating figures here, okay? One session consists of 3 semesters with a duration of 18 months of completion. Can you see? So when you are calculating, then you need to consider this, okay? Tuition fee will cost 1.1 initially to develop tuition material rather, and 10% cost for minimum education annually. So that means year 1, okay? My tuition fee is 1.5. Then I will now grow it by 10%. Okay, so that's it. All right. Then it is estimated that 25 classes we hold for each of the 3 programs per semester. Then the online platform design and installation cost one-off is estimated at 3.5 million. Okay. Now I think I sent a Preseen earlier on. A lot of people really think it was from me. It's not from me. So you can see the differences now, right? Okay. So in case you see that Preseen earlier, so you can see the difference, right? So now this is where I have my requirement. I attach here with Exhibit 7 and 10 in respect of our strategic and operational business proposal and financial summary for the year ended 31st December 2019. You know, like I said, it might bring on 2019's accounts. Okay. Mr. Shubawali James, please off your video. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry. Hey, let me take some water. Over how many hours? Let's continue now. Sorry. You can find in the Institute Strategic Plan file summarized financial plan. I think I've not typed those place properly. Plan for 2019 to 2023, showing key performance objective as approved by the council for the period. Okay. Now, the registrar, chief executive is seeking the council's approval for the business proposal. As usual, we need to carry out a detailed analysis of the institute financial statement for the past 4 years. We're comparison with 2019's accounts on this proposal. We also need to determine how this proposal will assist the institute to achieve the projected key performance objective in its 2019-2023 financial plan. You are to carry out a detailed analysis of the financial summary and prepare a report that will assist the governing council in its deliberation on the business proposal. You are also required to carry out an evaluation and appraisal of the business proposal and recommend whether it meets, can you say again, the institute key performance objectives. You will find an extract from the 21st President Acceptance Speech in Exhibit 5. Please go through the speech as they will assist you in your evaluation of the business proposal. And I've told you, all those exhibits, they have linkages, right? They are not just there. Now, please, this is your requirement. So this is what you should expect on Thursday. Please draft for my review. A report will be submitted to the governing council. Can you see? They will tell you. If they did not put governing, they just say council, then you write council. So for some of you that will cram, but I think governing council is also appropriate. Okay. Now your report should comprise an evaluation of the performance of the institute as reflected in its financial summary for the year ended 31st December 2009, as presented in Exhibit 10 and 11. Your evaluation should comprise an analysis of key changes in revenue, cost, and overheads by comparison with the previous 4 years to December 31, 2018, and advise to the council members on what actions to take to strengthen the strategic position of the institute for better future performance in the light of the plague in the country. You should also comment on why we made a deficit in 2019 despite each surplus recorded in the last 2 years. And your requirement two, and an analysis and evaluation of the business proposal as contained in Exhibit 7 and state the possibilities, given the current financial health of the institute, whether this proposal will help the institute to achieve the key financial projections in the financial plan for 2019 to 2023 as contained in Exhibit 13. Your report should include a clear commentary on any broader commercial and ethical considerations, as well as risk that may be associated with venturing into this business proposal. I am aware that you currently have other assignments you are working on. However, I would like you to give this assignment a top priority as the next council meeting is approaching. I will be grateful, therefore, if I can receive a draft report for my consideration by Wednesday. I look forward to receiving your report, Frank Ebuka. It's interesting, right? Okay, so that's what I've been cooking over the last 7 days, right? So it can be materially different what I'm going to see on Thursday. Okay. Now, so this is the email from the chief, what they call registrar. That's the chief executive, right? To my boss. Okay. Now we need the information here again, so that when we are doing our analysis, it's going to really help us. Frank, as you know, we have just completed another successful year, and as usual, the council members would like to carry out a review. We'd like you to carry out a review of our performance during the year. Your review should comprise an analysis of key changes in revenue, cost, and expenses across our revenue streams. Can you see? We're going to do that. and comparison with the previous 4 years, the council will also like to know why we recorded deficit in 2019. I'm thinking it's going to be a deficit, okay? Now, if you go there and it's a surplus, you know it's better for you, okay? But this is a worst case scenario, okay, for the last 2 years. Now, the council is also considering a request from the management of Dunlop University Business School, okay, to contract the running of its business school to our institute for a period of 5 years. It is great to receive this interest from Dunlop University Business School, more so as this seems to be in tandem with our strategic plan. I'm sure you are already aware that you have been tasked to review the contract terms of the proposed contract to evaluate the potential financial returns thereof, okay? So that's it. So therefore, the council members, therefore, the council members would like to evaluate the terms of the proposed contract and advise on its possible effect on institute future revenue and highlight any ethical and business trust you want the council members to consider. Can you see that? Okay, so you should expect something like that. Thanks for your continued effort, Daniel. So that's it. Now, so this is 2019's account and budget that I was talking about. Can you see that? So you expect something like this. Like I said, is a worst case scenario. Okay. Then this is the statement of income and expenditure. Okay. So this is the deficit I was talking about. Can you see that? All right. So I'm thinking they might make a deficit. So let's now take a look at, I will not read this. So this is the additional information. So you should expect summary of significant accounting policy based on preparation. So they can tell you, okay, I'll still try to find a way to reduce everything that is here. So, okay, but obviously you don't really need to bother yourself about here. But you might need to bother yourself on writing of policy, okay? So that's the institute policy when it comes to write off. So they now give us the breakdown of bad debts, trade receivables, staff receivables, or substantiated bank balances, okay? So they just give us those figures there. Then how do they recognize revenue we're giving, okay? And the revenue streams, critical accounting, judgment, and all of that, depreciation, okay? So you may not really need to bother about that. So I'm just thinking wide what they will bring on there. But you need to bother here. They will give you revenue streams. Can you see that? Okay. So they will give you revenue streams. So I just have to create this. Okay. So these figures I created, I just use certain percentage to try to create. So obviously I can never get this figure correctly 100%. It's not possible. It's not possible. Every other content is possible, but obviously the trend will be the same. Just that the figures are not the same. So now, so they will give you, okay, so the examiner might decide to limit the revenue streams or to fees, subscription, self-financing program, publication, and they may decide to add, there is other income and investment income in the Preseen, okay? They might decide to add it. So if they add it, then you consider everything. But if they did not, then obviously you also limit it. So this is the revenue stream, this member subscription, this examination fee, this is the members continuing education, and of course ABA is Academy for Business Advisors, and BS School is what? Business seminars for corporate organizations. So they will give you for each of those years, okay? So it's now left for you to do the analysis. I'll show you how to do the analysis, okay? So they'll give you, then these are the summary of events that affected our performance in the current year. That's 2019. So I'm just thinking that they might give you this, okay? Against the background of considerable uncertainty in the economy, we are generally pleased with this year's performance, okay, or we are generally pleased with year-on-year performance. However, in the first quarter of 2019, there was an outbreak of a rare plague which spread globally. The disease has caused a significant reduction in social interaction with a shutdown of public facilities and physical interaction. Measures taken to contain the virus have affected economic activities. Members of staff now work from home. The following events affected our operating performance in the year, okay? Now, Nigeria became increasingly aware of the potential health problems caused by the plague. This new awareness, combined with the Nigerian government's ban on social gathering, affected the institute's revenue streams. Despite switching to virtual programs, the above issues affected revenue from examination fees, particularly in the second half of the year, as can be seen in the financial results. Do you know why I'm thinking this way? Recently, I told you, between you and I, these are Ican kids, right? Recently, before the plague or before COVID-19, Ican seminars, whatever, it goes for 50K, 100K, in some cases 75,000, 150,000, and all of that. But all of a sudden, their webinar 7.5K, 7,500, it maybe max 15K sometimes, So that's why I just use that idea to create this. Is that okay? So despite switching, that means the revenue will still slide. Okay, impairment of non-current assets should be there. Like I said, I'm just typing. Okay, I've not really taken time to go through them again. Because all of you guys are really putting me under pressure. Okay, financial impact on loans and other receivables was 13.8. Account receivable balance were not tested for impairment. Okay, that's instructive. Hence, I'm just saying, okay, so in case they give you, hence, doubtful and irrecoverable balances were reported as good and recoverable in 2018 financials. Okay, they did test for impairment, so they were thinking they were good and it's recoverable. Okay, sorry, let me stop this video. I don't know why they are putting on video. Okay, now there has been significant change in credit quality and the amount may not be recoverable. This means most of the institute fees owed by most of our members over the years have now been written off in the institute, as the institute does not see any possibility of recovering them. Therefore, to be on the prudent side, we have no choice but to write off the amount in our current financial statement. We may wish to show the effect of this separately in your analysis. So that's it, okay? And the last exhibit is the financial projection. So I'm thinking they will also give you financial forecast, okay? Financial forecast. So here, you are going to be giving 2019. So when you're analyzing your 2019, you now be commenting, this is a budget, okay? This is the budget I'm talking about. So you now be commenting whether they met this budget or not. Meanwhile, you would have done your variance analysis, not the variance in PMO. I'll show you the variance shortly, okay? I'll show you the variance shortly, very simple. You got to see, compare the actual and the budget, okay? So if my actual is higher than what I budgeted for, then that's a negative variance, right? Okay, that's in terms of revenue, okay? So that's it. Okay, so that's what I think. I want to believe you enjoy my unseen that I've been cooking. Okay, so let me now show you how to go about your analysis. So I've not been able to put them on what's it called, on the main reports because I've been very busy. Okay, so I believe you can see my screen. So before I start to show you this, let me see some of your comments. Let me see some of your comments before, in case you have questions, you can use this opportunity to ask. So let me create about 5 to 10 minutes to entertain your question before we continue. So let me see, where did I stop the last time? Let me see. Okay. Okay, somebody is saying permit to record presentation. It is our company's policy that you cannot record. Okay, but you have access to the video. Is that okay? You won't be allowed in the exam hall to write until after 1 hour. So even if you read for 30 minutes, you won't still be allowed. Okay, I think I heard the story. Somebody also brings up that issue, but I don't think that is correct. I think it's peculiar to some centers. Yeah, it's peculiar to some centers, not all centers. I remember when I wrote case study. When I wrote case study, I read, even that time, there was no Preseen. I read everything in 20 minutes. I started writing. Nobody disturbed me. I don't know why it's like that. I think it's peculiar to some centers. So just pray, your center will not be like that. Okay, but if it's like that, it's a serious issue. Okay, I also pray that the village people will not work on that day. Is that okay? God will disconnect them. So that's important. But if this contract is not accepted, why do I have to go through stress of carrying? That's case study now. That's case study. Is that okay? You know, one thing is to evaluate. It's another thing to see whether it aligns with the institute. What's it called? With the institute mission. If you look at Exhibit 1, it's there already. It's not a stress. They want to see as a chartered accountant. Okay, so don't see it as a stress. That was why at the beginning I tried to explain why you still have case study in your curriculum. That's what I do. I try to encourage my students. Don't see it as a body. It's not a body. As a chartered accountant, you need to be proud of yourself. It's not about I want to be chartered. Okay, after you're chartered, what happens? They give you simple scenario, you say accept. Okay, so you need to exercise judgment and you need to look at underlying complex business issues. All right, so it's not a body. All right, now the reason why I say should be it should be rejected was because it's not in our mission statement. But if you feel it should be accepted, why not? Put it up, but provide a defense for that. So if you think it will not create conflict of interest, if you think is within their what's it called? Is it the act of parliament that established the institute? Why not? Okay, like I said, there's no straight answer or whatever. In case study. Okay. Now let me give you another scenario. That question just made me to remember. You know, in the Preseen rather, you know, they said the committee members they don't collect money, they don't receive money. Okay. Somebody can see it as an ethical issue. Okay. Why will you not give them money? Okay. Why will you not give them money? That means that there will be concerns about their commitment. All right. And somebody can say, why will they collect money? Is it not a not-for-profit making organization? So it should be a voluntary service. So either ways, it's your choice, all right? That's why they call it analysis. And don't forget, I also mentioned issues and options the last time, okay? I also mentioned issues and options. But trust me, I can't write this report and I will tell the examiner that you accept when it's not in line with the mission. It's not possible, okay? It's never possible. It's not. How? You want shortcuts to your exam? Okay, they are even replied. Okay, all right. So, but that's it, right? Okay, that's the truth. From all these requirements, how do we coin our topic? Don't worry, I've coined that one for you. If I have Naira itself, it's not coin. It's not coining. So I don't worry. Like I said, my job here tonight is to make your job easier on Thursday. Okay, so I've done all of that. The unseen likely to be more than the preseen. Of course, it's going to be more. Yeah, but you can't see more than I think 13 exhibits, maybe 12 or 13. Yeah. Yeah, it might be more because we don't really have too much information in the preseen, so it's possible. How do we link that of University Business School and SIBA? The calculation of financial ratios? No, you don't link it. It's a separate. That's why we have requirement 1 and requirement 2. Is that okay? They are separate. Okay. Somebody's saying this now wall loaded. Really? Thank you. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not seeing the screen for the budget. Okay, I think I show you that was what I showed last. Okay, when we get videos and slides and solutions too. Don't worry, you get it tonight. Yeah, I will try. You get it tonight. Yeah, don't worry, you shall get it. Okay, Amu will center very strict. Okay, please, what date can we use on the cover page? I said it earlier. Refer to the date the mail was sent to you. Okay. In Enugu, they won't give you answer script until 1 hour. Hey, yeah, sorry. And just be reading. Be doing your cap. Sorry, so I understand. Okay, you just have to manage. Okay. Okay. I can't hear. You can't hear. Should be from your side. Can the trend analysis be reduced to 3 years? In a rare circumstance, yes. Okay. But like the requirement I gave you, the examiner says, analyze the current year performance and compare with the previous 4 years. So in that case, you can't limit it. Is that okay? You have to calculate everything. Okay. But if they did not say that, if you like, you might decide to. Okay. Are we expected to do trend for all the items? Yes, do trend for all the items because I have looked at those items. It is let me say they are very they are scanty, like it's not loaded. It's something you can do within 10 to 15 minutes, okay? So try and do it. Okay, so do trend for all that, but don't do for balance sheet, okay? Don't do for the statement of financial position, especially if your requirement is similar to what I've just read. Don't waste time. They won't even mark it, okay? Because it's not in the requirement. Operating surplus change from negative to positive between these, but percentage difference is showing negative difference. Please explain. Okay. It will always show percentage difference. Okay. But don't worry. When you do trend, you don't worry about the negative that you're getting. What you are just trying to get is the relative terms. Okay, is it increasing or decreasing? By how many percent? Is it 5%? So that you can use those relative terms in your analysis. Mere looking at the figure, you know already what is happening, whether it's increasing or improving. So it's quite clear. Okay, it's very clear. So don't bother about negative. You are getting negative. That's not the case. Make sure you apply the correct formula. New minus hold over hold. That's the current year minus the base year. That's the last year over base year multiplied by 100% when you are doing your trend analysis. So I'm still coming there. Okay. Okay. I don't think I have a question again. Okay, I'll still come back. So let's continue because of time. I have so many comments over there. Okay, so now this is your financial statement analysis. I want to believe you can see the Excel sheet on your screen. Okay, so this is your financial statement, and you have to do this. Okay, so do for just the way it is. So you will bring on 2019's account. Okay, so this 2018 change in percentage, 2017 change in percentage, 2016 change in percentage, and all of that. Now, after you have learned this, okay, after I've taught you now, I just use one figure. I can't be going through all of them. Okay, I have to do it on Excel to make things faster for me. I just formalize it. Okay, like I said, I doctored 2019's figure. So don't expect this figure in exams, okay? For people that will cram, because I know some people will cram. Even if I shout it tomorrow, they will still cram. But that's not a problem. What is important is everybody pass at the end of the day, okay? Whether you cram, whether you understand everything, okay? Now, let me quickly say this. In case I skip your question on the chat, you have my number, okay? So feel free to chat me up. I'll answer. So it's possible if I skip your question, okay? All right, sorry, somebody is muting you yourself or something. Okay, so now after you have learned this, you don't need to do this line, okay, in the exam, so that I can manage your paper. So you don't need to do that line, but I need to put it there so that you can see how it works. So how do I do my trend? Okay, I've given you the formula. You will simply say current year minus last year over last year multiplied by 100%. So if I'm comparing 2019 and 2018, what is my current year? Obviously, my current year is 2019, Abby? And of course, my old year or last year is 2018. So I'll now say new minus old. So here you will say 643 minus 677. Can you see that? So the difference between the two is what you have here as your change. But like I said, you may not need to create that column, okay? But to make things faster for me, because I'm using Excel, so that I can just, when I want to get my percentage change, can you see the formula? I'll just say E5 over D5 percentage. That's it, so that it can give me this figure straight away, okay? So that's what, sorry. Off your video, please. Miriam, please off your video. Okay, so that's what you are doing there. But don't do this. So then I come to 2017. So now I'm comparing 2018 and 2017. So which one is my new year now? Of course, 2018 is my new year, and this is my old year. Okay, so this is my ODA. So when I do this, I'll now say new 677 minus 419. So it's going to give me 258. So if I divide by ODA, which is 419, so I'm going to get this figure. So that's how you do it on and on. So like I said, can you see? You only have about five items here. It's not really much. And this is your expenditure. Then you do your other company. It's not really much. So it's something you can quickly do. That's why I said you need to play with the figures properly, okay, before you get into that exams. So this is exactly the way you're going to present your financial statement analysis. So you do trend analysis. Like I said, I'll show you so many possible calculations that you can do. Then you can also do your ratio analysis. So like we said, the ratios we are doing here, they are the abnormal ratio. So you do this on cash on hand. Okay, so you know the formula. In case you don't know the formula, I can send you a snapshot. So that will be cash plus cash equivalent divided by total expenses minus depreciation expenses multiplied by 365 days. So that's why you're having this here, okay? So that's why you're having this here. So you just pick those figures over there. It's very simple. The amount of spending. The formula here is cash minus current asset minus current liability plus temporarily net restricted asset over total expenses minus depreciation expenses multiplied by 12 months. So when you do that, this is what you have. Then you also have your savings indicator, okay? That's revenue minus expenses over revenue. You're just looking at the percentage of money spent in relation to revenue collected. Then you have your spending ratio. So you just become personnel cost, affiliation cost, and what's it called? Administrative cost, okay? So you're just looking at the ratio of your expenses to total. That means here you are looking at the cost, the personnel cost over total expenditure. Is that okay? Personnel cost over total expenditure. So you are looking at which of them you are really spending money on. The same thing when it comes to affiliation costs and administrative expenses. Then you also do for your overheads, okay? Now, this is the budget I was talking about. So this is what you are doing. This is variance analysis. So that exhibit 13, that strategic financial objective, okay? So you now bring it on here. So this is my actual. So they will give you actual for 2019. Then you go to the budget. You know, I show you that budget. You now bring on that figure here. Then you calculate the variance in absolute terms. Then you also calculate the variance in relative terms. That's what you are doing. That's the variance analysis. It's not your normal. If it's your normal variance analysis, I would have told Mr. Taiwo or variance analysis, but that's not what you're doing. It's just to look at budget performance, okay? Because it's part of your responsibility in Exhibit 1. So I'm thinking they might bring it on. So if they bring it on, that's what you're doing. So when you now say actual minus plan, so you're going to give me negative 110, and you calculate the variance. So obviously, if I plan to have 410 million in my membership subscription, and eventually I have 301, so that is variance. So it's a negative variance. I didn't achieve my target. So that's what you see there. Like I said, I just use certain percentage to derive those figures. So it might, because I'm just trying to just create every possible scenario. So this is what you do, okay? So that's what you do. Now, if you like, if you have more time, you can do common size, okay? You can do, now here, you are just showing common size, okay? You are just showing common size. You don't really need to carry out any analysis. And if you do it, obviously, you will earn 1 mark, okay? You will earn 1 mark, yes. It's 1 mark. And if you don't do it, no problem. The main thing is the one you really require for your analysis. So because of time, but if you are doing it, like I said, just do for your income statement. So how do I do my common size? Now here, you just gross up your total income, and that's your total revenue. We are dealing with a not-for-profit making. So in a not-for-profit making, what they normally talk about is income and expenditure. So most likely, all figures you are seeing will be taken as your revenue, except the examiner is restricting you, that is separating revenue from income. Is that okay? So it will now influence the figure you are going to use. Okay, if it's a profit-making organization, that's straightforward. You know easily what a revenue is and what income is. But for a not-for-profit making, okay, because for example, they have donation. Do you classify donation as revenue or income? They call it income. Okay, they call it income. So when I saw that revenue streams in the exhibit, so that got me thinking. Okay, so that's why it took me time, to be able to create the unseen. Okay, so but notwithstanding, if you get into the exam, the examiner say take total income as a revenue, they will be explicit. Okay, then obviously that's what you're doing. So when I'm doing my common size, the formula is item of interest over referenced item. Item of interest over reference item. So my reference item in my income statement is the revenue. Is that okay? That's total revenue. Okay, so that's why I'm picking total income here. Total revenue is my reference item. That's the denominator. Then item of interest is my numerator. So I can decide to pick any item in the financial statement, like the income statement. I can pick personnel cost. I can pick, I can pick revenue because I'm comparing the proportion of every other item in the income statement with my revenue. Is that okay? What's the percentage? So when I pick personnel cost, I'll say personnel cost over revenue multiplied by 100%. So I got 24. What's it? 24.1. Why is it negative? Because cost is always in negative in the financials, right? So that's why you are saying it's in negative. I pick my affiliation cost, I pick my administrative expenses and all of that. Now listen, if the examiner limits the revenue to fees and subscription, publication and self-financing program, that means you can also pick on your other income over revenue. Is that okay? On the investment income over revenue. But I'm assuming they may not really or likely do that. So if you like, you can decide to do common size. Like I said, I'll show you every possible thing you need to do. So if the one you now feel you are more comfortable with for your analysis, then you can go ahead and do that. Obviously, you can't use all of this to do your analysis, but you will use strength to do your analysis of revenue streams. Okay, you will use strength. Okay, then you can now analyze key items in the financial statement. Okay, you can analyze key items. So instead of you doing trend around balance sheet and all of that, so you can just pick up total asset, total liability, funds and reserve, total income, total expenditure, and of course your total surplus and deficit for the year. So calculate their trend. Is that okay? Calculate their trend. So this will also help you in your analysis. So the same way we did, I showed you trend over there. Okay, so just that, look at your total assets, add it together, 2017, 2018, 2019, and if you like, you might skip this. Okay, if you like. Okay, but I have to do it because it's a comprehensive report. So the ones you think you are more comfortable with. So after you have done it, don't do the analysis here. Immediately I did it, I have to do the analysis, but I've lifted this analysis into the reports. Okay, so don't do the analysis so that I don't forget, because I'm working on so many things. Okay, so that's why I did the analysis. So you don't need to do the analysis, just show it. Okay, but don't worry, you won't even have access to this one. I would have lifted it into the main report. Then you now do analysis of revenue streams. Can you remember under our requirement one? Okay, under our requirement one, we have to analyze revenue streams. So they will give you, they have already given us in the Preseen, member subscription, exam fee, what's it called? Members continuing education, academy for business advisors, and of course our business seminars for what's it called? Corporate organization. Do you remember that exhibit I showed you? So that's what you use to come and do your revenue streams analysis. So obviously you are going to use what's it called? You are going to use trend, to analyze it. I'm not really too sure they will give you costs attached to this revenue stream. It's a not-for-profit making. So naturally we don't have cost of sales. Okay, if we have cost of sales, then you'd have removed cost of sales from the revenue, then you have gross profit. But there's nothing like gross profit, when it comes to a not-for-profit making organization. So that's why you are seeing only revenue here. But however, you can analyze other costs like the personnel costs, affiliation cost and overheads, that's impairment and depreciation, then administrative expenses. So you can actually do that. So I've shown you previously. So that's what you are doing, okay? Now be with me here. This is your contribution analysis, okay? That's evaluation of Dalop Business School. So this is a worst case scenario that you are going to see in the exams. So I'm just thinking they can decide to ask you to calculate for the 5 years. So let's take a look. So let me explain. You know, I showed you the contract terms earlier, if you remember. So how do I get this figure? Now they said the tuition fee in year 1 to 3 is going to be 100,000 based on my own analysis, based on my own simulation. So you might see something similar, okay? Now, I now say that 100,000 and they gave me the estimate number of students for each year. Can you see that? We have 205, we have 310, 355, okay? That's it. So you now multiply 100,000 multiplied by 205, you get this figure. 100,000 multiplied by 310, you get this figure. Then 355. You know, I just created them, okay? So that's what I'm thinking. So you multiply. Then you have the 3rd year. They now say in the 4th year, student would have increased to 405, 405, the 425, and tuition fee would have also increased to 130. Can you see that? So you need to be careful, okay? So that because all those components will affect your final figure. So you need to be very careful. So when you bring it on here, so in your 4th year, that's why when I'm writing my tuition fee, can you see that? I've already incorporated, that's exactly the way you present it, okay? So I've already incorporated how to do the calculation. Then I now do my total. So if I had from year 1 to year 5, I have this total because I need that total information for my contribution analysis. Is that okay? I need it for my contribution analysis. Then I go to registration fee because they said registration fee is 5,000 per session, and a year makes a session, okay? Which is it can be 2 semesters, it can be 3 semesters. We don't know what I'm going to give, but here I think I'm simulating 3 semesters, okay? Okay. So that's it. So we have 15,000. So I use the number of students again. You know, it's an estimate. I use the number of students again. Okay. I'll say 15 multiplied by 205. I have this figure. Okay. If they did not give me a registration fee, then I will not do this. You know, I'm just assuming. Okay. If they didn't give me, I won't do this. Okay. So they give me. So I use the same. They said it's 15,000. So that's fixed throughout the 5 years. So they will not increase unlike the tuition fee. So when I do that, I have this figure, that's 27 million, and I have a total figure, that's the total income, will now be, for the 5 years, it will now be 235 million, okay? You might be seeing a lower figure in your exams, and you can be seeing a bigger figure, like billion. So I just want to simplify things here. So that's why I'm doing that. Then I now go to my direct cost, because I need to remove direct cost from my revenue so that I can get my contribution. Then I consider indirect costs, so I can get my net profit. Is that okay? So that's how I think you're going to do. Then I go to my direct. Remember, this is no investment appraisals. It's a proposal. So like I said, you are not doing any NPV here or what's it called, payback period. Okay. Now you now have direct operating cost. You said it's 2,050. Okay. Now, how many semesters? I have 3 semesters. That's why you are seeing that 3 there. And I have 3 programs. That's why you are seeing the second 3. Can you see that? Okay. Then I have 25. Okay. So you you multiply all those 4 components together, then you have this final figure. Okay. You have that final figure. So that's what you do. So I think in the 4th year or so, in the 4th year, the figure change. It changes to 2250. Okay, it changes. So that's why you have. So you now put it there, put it up there. Then in the tuition material, you said the initial cost to be 1.1 million. If you remember, you now said after that it will grow by 10%. So you grew that figure by 10%, by 10%, by 10%. So that means 10% of this figure you had it back. And if you're very conversant with how to do growth rate in your SFN, so you just do it, okay? So you have this total figure. The lecturer's fee is 7,000 per lecturer, okay? It's 7,000 per lecturer, and they are going to do 25 classes. Can you see that? So that's 25. They are going to do 3 semesters per session. Can you see that? And this 3 is a 3 program, okay? And you have 9 lecturers. Can you see? So that's how you multiply to get this figure, okay? And this will really waste time in the exams. It will waste time, I can bet it. So that's why I needed to show you. Like I said, this is a worst case scenario that you can see in that exams. So you need to prepare and you need to be very fast when you get in there on Thursday, okay? When you get in there. So you need to read the contract terms properly, okay? And the designer can decide to make it so simple and straightforward. But like I said, I need to prepare you in a worst case scenario as it were, okay? Then you now go to the online platform, recurring cost. They might give you recurring cost every year, okay? You say 55 in year 4, expect, you know, I'm just assuming figures here, okay? I just have to sit down and create this figure. Then you now say design and installation cost. You said that one is just a one-off cost. So that's why you're seeing it. It will only happen in year 1. Then you just put it as a total here because no occur again. So my total direct cost, can you see? You sum everything up, you add that figure. I will now consider my contribution. So when I remove my total direct cost from my total income, I have my contribution. So this is a you know, this is an appraiser overview of everything. I'm not considering what is coming to the institute. Is that okay? I'm just looking at the the proposal, you know, based on the information I've been given. Then I now go to indirect cost. They can give examination expenses. If they did not give you, then you move on. Any other thing they are giving you, you said in year 1 it's going to be 250, 250. Then here it increases to 300, 300, and all of that. Okay. Then you now come to your operating cost. Can you see that? Okay, he said it will be 1,000 multiplied by 25. That's 25 sections or classes online. Okay, then multiply by 3 programs. You know, they give us 3 programs. Then multiply by 3 semesters in a year. Can you see that? Then it will increase by 1/3 in year 4. So that's what you are seeing here. So when you multiply, you add that figure. Then you now go to faculty members. Here, I decide not to put any figure because I don't really understand what they mean by faculty members. So in case they give figure to a faculty member, just put the figure there. But I needed to put it there so that you remember that you will also be responsible for faculty members. So my total indirect cost will now stand at this figure, okay? It will stand at this figure, okay? To stand at that figure. And of course, I'll now calculate my net profit. So how do I get my net profit? I remove my indirect cost from my contribution. So I have this net profit. So this is the general appraisal of data proposal. Is that okay? I will now calculate contribution analysis. Which amount is coming to me as the institute? So let me quickly show you. Okay, you know they said the share of profit. Abi, can you see that? The share of profit is a ratio 4:6. I will now say 6/10 multiply by, you know, they say we will share tuition fee. Okay, that is very instructive. Not, you won't apply it on the net profit. You know, this is a general proposal. I will now go to tuition fee. How much is the tuition fee here? Can you see? That's it. That is 208 million. Can you see that? That's the tuition fee. I will now say 6/10 multiplied by 200 and what's it called? 8 million. Okay, so that's my tuition fee. I'll now bring that figure in. So that's the revenue that is coming to the institute. Can you see that? I will now consider all my direct costs. You know, this is a 5-year project now, okay, or 5-year business proposal. So that's the way you do it. I will now consider, and if they want you to do it year in, year out, that's why I did that first one for you so that you see the way it works, okay? But obviously, you want to do how much will it be over the next 5 years. So I'll now go to my direct operating cost. You know, they have already told me what I'm going to do, okay? So now here, my direct operating cost will now be what I'm responsible to, okay? What I'm responsible, what I'm going to do, okay? For example, I'll be the one that will say to lecturer, okay, and some other setup costs as it were in the contract. So I consider it here. I will also provide tuition material. You know, I've calculated it up there. So I'll just bring the figure here. Lecturer's fee, I'll be the one that will bear it. Okay, online recurring costs. You know, I was reading it earlier. That was why I was making an emphasis. I'll bring it here. He said I will also be responsible for design and installation. I also direct cost. Can you see that? Then this is my contribution. So when I remove this direct cost from this money that is coming to me, then I have this my contribution. Do I have any indirect expenses? You will ask. If they ask you, if they give you, fine, then you consider it. So here, I'm just assuming examination expenses. Then I remove it. So that's my total indirect cost. So eventually, this is my net profit. Okay, this is my net profit. So this is the money that probably will come to the institute at the end of the day. Okay, so now you can now do your contribution to sales ratio. So just pick on your contribution here divided by the revenue, then you have 0.31. So when you have done this, you're now ready for your report. You're now ready for your report. You're now ready for your report. So let me show you, but before I do that, let me see whether, okay, I know you will have so many questions around them because you don't have the materiality. Where's 25 coming from? 25 classes per session. Is that okay? So don't worry, when you have it, you will understand. You understand better. And if you are having issue, you will, I can explain. Is that okay? Let me see whether I have, okay, let me see whether I have some questions I can quickly explain before we move on. In the introduction, can we add background information about? No. The answer is capital no. Okay. You don't tell. Maybe you didn't. You have not joined when I started. You don't tell the council about the institute. They know already. It's a waste of time. Okay. You won't hear. It doesn't mean you will not pass. Is that okay? If you do table of content, you do all these things I see that is flying up and down. It doesn't mean you won't pass. But if somebody tells you that I did background information about the institute, I did table of content, then you ask yourself, is that the reason why they passed? You are telling them what they know already. No, that's not. The person might have done well in the analysis. So bother about analysis, not table of content, not about the company's background. However, let me say this. You can actually do company's background, but it depends on the case scenario. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, Zenith Bank, Nigeria, has written to you as their, business advisor, okay? They want to acquire another company in Ghana, for example, and in that company it could be in banking sector or probably in another industry, and they ask you to help them in evaluation. In that case, you can tell Zenith a brief background about the company because they don't know the company. Is that okay? But not analyzing Zenith account and you're telling the managing director of Zenith Bank about their company. No, you're wasting time. Okay, I think that's logical. Okay, so you don't do that. If you do it, it doesn't mean you won't pass. But for me, you have a limited time already. Why have you been wasting time doing company's background? Is that okay? So that's very instructive. Okay, but the mission statement does not negate business proposal. Of course, anybody can bring on business proposal. Can you see from the exhibit? Dallop approached the institute. Can you see that? Okay, let me ask you this question. Between you and I, this Ican case, have you ever seen Ican doing master's program on behalf of any company in the real life case? It's not possible. Okay, but they can do MOU. Okay, they can do MOU. They can do seminar. They can have partnership with universities and all of that to build facility, but not for a proposal that we make where they make profit. No. Okay, so the mission does not negate it, but it doesn't mean any university cannot approach. Of course, they will approach them. So it's not less for them to probably reject it. Okay, so that's it. All right. But if you have a defense, like they should accept it, and you can prove a point. Why not? Go ahead and put it there. Okay. And if it's making sense, why not? If you think if they take up that project, then it will not raise highbrow. Okay. Then why not? But for me, I don't think so. Okay. So let me see again. What exhibit did they state that members did not pay money? Go and read it too. I beg. I don't even know, but I know it's stated somewhere. I think when I was reading. Please go and read it. It's with you now. Read everything. You're the one writing the exam, Ejo. Please explain the little of trend analysis showing currently. Okay. What is the deciding factor that made the proposal not to align with the CBA's vision mission? Okay, their mission. Let me try to see if I have the Preseen here instead of opening the screen. Okay, so let me see the admission. Sorry. He said vision is to take business advisory services in Nigeria to a world-class level. Our mission is to produce world-class business advisors, regulate, can you see, and continually enhance ethical standards, can you see that? And technical competence in business advisory services, ethics. So the question is, when I said the project, will it enhance my ethical standard? Okay. Or will it cause ethical issues? So it's your beat, okay? It depends on your understanding of business issues, right? So that's it. Do we need to show workings for appendix? I mean, formula? No, you don't need to, except if you are calculating ratios. You don't need to, okay? Just press your calculator. Now, okay, let me say this again. See, your appendix will not fetch you mark. I'm begging. It will not. Appendix 1 is 1 mark. Appendix 2 is 1 mark. If you do 4 appendix, it's 4 marks. I'm begging. So don't waste time. However, you needed information in your appendix for the report. In fact, that's the foundation. If you don't do that, you can't. Okay? Okay? So that's something like formula. There's no ceremony. This is not corporate reporting. If you are doing corporate reporting, then you are bothered about correctness. In fact, if you mix up your appendix, you didn't get probably the calculations correctly, and you are able to interpret, you will get the mark. So in case study, they are marking your interpretation, not the correctness of your appendix. A lot of people spend 2 hours, doing the appendix as if that's and eventually you can't write the report. So it's not. Okay, it's not. So that's why I said I will show you everything that might be required, a worst case scenario. So when you get into that exam, you already plan yourself. Okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, that is what I'm doing. That's it. Then you move on. Okay. So don't write a formula, say you're doing ratio. Just press calculate. I was also saying that change in absolute terms, don't put it there. Okay, it's just to make things easier for me. That's why I put it there. Okay, and to also make you to understand. Instead of copying out the figures, can we just calculate the changes and percentage for? Yeah, why not? You can. Just show trend. You go and read Pathfinder. Look at what the chief examiner is saying. He said, show common size, show trends, all right? Because it's part of your reports, okay? So why not? You can. After we have calculated the trend for each of the items, are we expected to write about them? Or no, it depends on your analysis. Analyze revenue streams. I don't have business with the balance sheet. That's the meaning. Even some components in the financial statement, I've seen people, they bother about the changes in fair value, which one is fair value to maturity, IFRS 9, okay? So you don't really bother about that, okay? Focus on the requirements, right? So that's it. You will do common size 1 mark. Even the statement of what's it called? Your financial statement analysis, see 1 mark. Anything you do in appendix, under is 1 mark. Seriously, okay. Seriously, I'm serious. Please, we need formula you use. Don't worry. I'll snap it and send it to the group, okay? So that we don't waste time. Okay, recap on the savings indicator. Okay. Savings is when you get money, how much are you able to save? Okay, so you are relating your expenses with your revenue. Okay, but I was saying this this thing. Okay, please, we need formula you use for statement of financial analysis. I said it now. That's trend analysis. Okay, new minus old over old. Okay, new minus old over old. Please, the formula for the uncommon ratios are required. Please share. Yeah, I will share. Don't worry, I will share. Can I start my appendix from financial data analysis? Why not? Yeah, you can. There's no what's it called? What how will I call it now? A kind of template for that. But the reason why we normally start from financial statement analysis is because that's requirement 1. Is that okay? So that's why it usually starts like that. Then requirement 2 is where you analyze business proposal. And obviously, when you're writing your report, you also start from requirement 1. You start addressing the issue from requirement 1. So when you now do evaluation on appendix 1, Then appendix 3 or 4 is now taking your financial analysis and you're interpreting, you know, it looks somehow so that you're not confused, right? So that's why. But that is, if you are comfortable with that, that's fine. All this for 3 hours, of course. So what do you want us to do? You guys are writing exams, and I can't probably give an earlier date. Thank God I even fixed September 14. I forecast earlier, and if you even fixed September 14 before the Preseen was released, because I know it might be very difficult. When I was certain that they're going to change the Preseen, so that's why I quickly fixed September 14. A lot of people called, it's too early, we have paper the next day. I know, but if you really want me to give you something that would be very similar in that exam, I could have done this on Friday, then you'll be seeing poor analysis here, okay? So I needed time to think and of course produce a very nice report, all right? So that's why, okay? But that's why, you know, when you come to case study, you don't wait till this time. You should have been taking lectures, but I know some of you guys are not taking lectures. That's why I did that first section to bring everybody to the same page so that I can reduce the number of questions you're asking me. Why the worst case scenario? Okay, do you want me to make it simple? And you get there, you now see a bigger picture and you cannot do anything. So that's the essence for the worst case scenario. So I made it a complex issue here. So that when you get there, obviously it won't be difficult as this, okay? So that's the reason. So I understand what I'm doing, okay? Yeah, choose your choice of what you can do. Yeah. Okay. Let me see whether I have one or two more. Oh, in your material, you wrote down the formula because I'm having network issues. Don't worry, you have it on the WhatsApp, right? Ican is planning to do that now. They want to go into online university, and that's different. If Ican want to start a university, it's different from running a university on behalf of another company. Okay, it's two different things. In fact, that will be a university of Ican. I know, I'm aware. They are doing it. It's a two different thing. And if they are doing that, it still aligns with the institute's mission, you know, to regulate, chartered accountants and raise their ethical standards, produce world-class accountants. So it's still within their mission. Okay. Of course, there are so many universities that are run on not-for-profit making, right? So that's it. Okay. You run an institute on not-for-profit making. You can also run an institution for not-for-profit making. But let me ask you this question: are you going to take Dallop a business proposal on the basis of not-for-profit making? Except that's the case, then you can accept it. That's it. Okay, so that's it. So, but if you think you're not convinced with that, so be it. You can decide to tell them they will accept. So it's fine, right? Once you can defend yourself. All right. So please, I observe the program is for 18 months. So I smell a cutoff issue. Multiply by 2, not 3 semesters for each year. Yeah, it depends on the way. Like I said, depends. You know, the issue is here is this. He said it's for 5 years. Is that okay? It's for 5 years. So the examiner might make it simple for you because of your calculation. And like you said, if it's 3 semesters, so that means you're having overlapping. Then you need to consider that then it becomes more complex. I don't think the examiner will want to do that for you, okay? Because you still have financial statement analysis to do. So it will be so complex, all right? So the committees are made up of members of the institute that do not receive remuneration in their service other than this is on page 7. Thank you very much. Okay, somebody has helped us to see where it is here. The formula for abnormal ratios again. Yeah, don't worry, I'll send it. Okay. Okay, I think I've done that. I've done this. Okay. Okay, I should throw more light on trend analysis. And I don't have torchlight here. I should have put the lights. Okay, trend analysis. Don't worry, I will take you personally, okay? In case, so that I need to go into the report. That's what I'm doing now. So that let me show you what you really need to do in the report. So, but I just wanted to look at your comments. So if you are not still clear on trend analysis, like I said, you have my number, okay? If you don't have my number, ask your neighbor. Oh, sorry, you don't have neighbor there. In case you have your neighbor, just have, I know somebody somewhere we have my number, okay? So you can easily contact me. I'll explain. Now, please, for us not to waste too much time on appendix, which analysis should we focus more to? Like I've said, it's your choice, but I'm just showing you every possible scenario. But it's also dependent on the requirements. So the requirement says analyze revenue streams. Obviously, we do what's it called, trend for your revenue. Okay. Then for this particular case, I think you should be able to do the income statement trend. It's the content there are not much. Okay. So you should be able, but don't waste time on the balance sheet. Don't even go there. Okay. So that's it. There's so many messages. Okay, I'll come back here. I'll come back here. Time is fast spent. Some people have CR tomorrow. So let me take you. If I miss a question, like I said, you can ask me. I'll answer. So let me take a look at the report. Do I have the report here? Oh, I did not copy it from my OneDrive. Okay, thank God the report is there. Thank God. Okay. So I believe you can see my screen, and this is what I've been waiting for, Abby. But unfortunately, I'm not done with the reports. I'm done, really. I'm done with the body, but I've not written the executive summary. I was thinking I'll be able to do that. But that's not a problem. I can write that one in 10-15 minutes, okay? Because the report is ready already. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. So this is the case study. Advanced information analysis. A lot of messages are dropping, but don't worry. Okay, so but don't worry, we're going to deal with the issue. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I have a note for you guys here. So make sure you read that note. But let me just summarize it. Now, it's not possible to publish suggested unseen and answers, which will comprehensively cover what will be required in exams and all valid points that you can make. Like case study is always an argument. Okay, so and everything you're going to see in this report. Now, listen. Everything you're going to see in this report, nobody can produce it under exam condition. It's not possible. Even me, I can't. Okay? Nobody. But you can do about 50%. You can do about 50% right. And if you are able to do even 40% of the reports, you have passed already. Okay? But the issue here is there's no way, we can really mention it. Okay? Every other valid point that you might also bring on. So if you bring on any other valid point that is probably not in this case and is relevant to the requirement, is going to really, it will be marked, okay? It will be marked. So that's what you need to understand. Okay, so that's the note. That's what that note is all about. So you need to understand that. Now, let me now give you examiner's comment in November 2019 Ican case study. I think I've shared this with some couple of people, and that's why I think maybe when you see this, it will die down your nerves around business analysis, SWOT, PESTEL, and all of that. Candidate demonstrated lack of understanding of the requirements of the case, most especially requirement 2. Candidates seem to have the notion that they must carry out SWOT or PESTEL analysis in each case study paper, not minding the requirement of the case. Did you see that? That's Ican. This is Ican. This is exam you're writing. And this is from the chief examiner. Therefore, candidate performance was poor. Only few candidates scored 50% and above. So why do I want to die because of PESTEL or SWOT? Once it's not in the requirement, I've told you the circumstances, where you might need to really do business analysis. Now, I said the major pitfalls were not dealing appropriately with requirement 2. Did you see that? You're just writing off point, okay? Almost all the candidates carried out SWOT analysis, despite the fact that there was nothing in the case requirement that demanded for it, even though I have a reservation around here. Because for me, if you are doing analysis, you need to look at the non-financial aspect, which of course is your business analysis and the financial part. But since this is what Ican wanted, let's just dance to their tune, right? Meanwhile, in practice, if I want to do business analysis, obviously, I will consider, both sides, right, to make it complete. Okay, I have reservation here. Okay, but notwithstanding, we just go with what they want. There's a lack of understanding on how to write executive summary. Do you remember? I spent about 5 to 10 minutes explaining executive summary. In fact, most candidates don't even know where executive summary we stand in their report. Okay, so that's another concern. So this is how your page 1 will look like. So that's it. You are writing to the governing council, report on financial performance. That's requirement 1. And evaluation of strategic business proposal. That is it. Keep it as simple as possible. In fact, some people when they are formulating their title, you think it's a sentence. You just writing analysis of revenue streams, including Kinikon. That's not. You're writing the title or the topic or the focus. Okay, so just keep it simple. This title will feature for your exams, no matter how they have coined. What's it called? They have coined the requirement. If you just put it in your head like that, it will, because you do financial performance. You will carry out financial analysis, whether you like it or not. Okay, and you do evaluation of that business proposal. So that's it. They're prepared by finance and account department, or you put the name of your boss. I said it earlier because this is an internal report. Then if you look at the date the mail was sent to me, I think it was around May 18 or 16. March 18 or 16 thereabout. So just had about 2 or 3 days. So that's why I have March 20 here. Okay. So it's an internal report. I don't really require a disclaimer. Okay. So when I get to that date, that's all. Okay. Then, but because I know most people will cram, so just say this report is for internal use only. You don't need to start saying we accept no liability if a third party Kiniko, you don't need all of that. So just put it simple. Then this is 1 mark. So I don't know why everybody, there are a lot of issues around here. Okay, so this is just 1 mark. Okay, it's just 1 mark. How did I know? Okay, I shall know. I know it's 1 mark, but I will not tell you how I know. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we are stopping at 11. Worst case scenario, so I'll try. I just want to show you. So your executive summary will be on your next page and page 2. Is that okay? But you can't write the executive summary if you have not done your analysis. That's why I showed you the analysis first. Okay, but I've not written this executive summary. So I'll write it before I sleep so that you can get the report. So how do I now do my introduction? My people. Now, let's now practicalize what I explained at the beginning of this class. Now, this is my introduction. You don't need to color it the way I've colored it here. So don't go with crayon or watercolor in your exams, all right? Now, secret to the mail sent to me or May 18. Can you see that? May 18. That's why I used May 20 in that cover page, 2020. So if it's September that is sent to you, then you do September. So I need to emphasize for people that will cram this report. I know that's what you are waiting for. Okay, you are screenshotting already. That's okay. That's interesting. Now, secret to the mail sent to me or May 18, 2020, where I am required to carry out a review of our institute financial performance during the year and an appraisal of the new strategic business proposal. This report contains an analysis of key changes in revenue. Did you see that? I did the linkage. Did you see the linkage? And I'm loading into the requirement indicates changes in revenue, cost, and overheads across our revenue streams by making comparison with the previous 4 years. Next paragraph. This is a block format I'm talking about. So don't use indent. Use it this way. This is very nice. Okay. Now, this report contains an advice. I'm still on the requirement. So because I've written about 4 lines or 5, so I'm saying that I needed to create another paragraph. So you don't continue to write so that you make your report so presentable. This report also contains an advice to the governing council on actions to take to strengthen the strategic position of the institute for better future performance in the light of the plague in the country. In addition, did you see that? The report presents a clear commentary on why we made a deficit in 2019, despite each surplus recorded in the last 2 years. Furthermore, I'm still on my requirement. Can you see? By the time you are writing this, you are gaining confidence already in the exams, or your exam fever or whatever. Okay, even the plague in the country would have gone away. Now, furthermore, the report also consider, that's requirement 2, a critical evaluation and assessment of the business proposal to run an online program for Dalop University Business School, together with the discussions on broader commercial and ethical considerations, as well as risk that may be associated with venturing into the business proposal. I did this morning. I produced it this morning, just this morning, okay? The report also contains a comment on whether this proposal will help the institute to achieve its key financial projections in the financial plan for 2019 to 2023. That's it. Then I will now exercise professional skepticism. You know, that's it, so that you don't forget, okay? There were concerns about possibility of withheld data or information that could have significant impact on our analysis. Therefore, the report, together with recommendations and conclusions thereon, are purely based on the information made available in pursuant of the list of exhibits attached to this case. However, final decision rests with the governing council of our great institute. Besides, another professional skepticism, industry performance average was not provided to aid the evaluation of the institute's performance. It is therefore difficult to ascertain whether the institute's poor performance in 2019. How do I know that they have poor performance? I've already done my trend analysis, okay, before I'm coming here, okay? Whether their poor performance is due to general industry performance trend or as a result of operational inefficiency, okay? Then I have another professional skepticism. Furthermore, the assumptions used for the information provided in Exhibit 13, do you remember when they gave us strategic business projection, were not stated? This raises concern on the level of reliability that can be placed on the strategic financial projection. Then after I've done my professional skepticism, after I've applied professional skepticism, then I consider wider context. That's the next paragraph. The inability of the institute to conduct its professional exams this year, the inability of the institute to conduct its examinations this year, which usually comes up twice in a year, March and September, due to a rare plague that caused strange sicknesses that has no known cure, which led to government to restrict social, business, education, and religious gathering, might explain the reason behind the decline in the income generated from the institute revenue streams in the current year. So that's wider context. You will do this, and you come back and write case study. It's not possible. It's not. Never. Then you come to your financial statement analysis of revenue stream. Can you see? I am addressing requirement 1. The revenue generated from member subscription over the last 5 years was relatively not stable. The revenue declined by 8.4% in 2019 when compared with 2018 figures. It will therefore appear that the economic effect of the rare plague has impacted negatively on the disposable income of our members. Similar trend was also recorded between 2015 and 2016, where the revenue dropped by 3.5%. In contrast, the revenue from member subscription improved significantly by 51% between 2017 and 2018. The revenue from member subscription in 2019 witnessed a negative variance. Can you see? So this is where you mentioned the budget. That's it. After I've calculated my variance of 26.7% when compared with the current year financial budget, this implies that the current year budget was not achieved. This called for immediate concern as the budget deficit was mainly due to the reasons discussed above. Although the revenue to be generated here is easily determinable, but it's also dependent on members' commitment, their well-being, amongst others. That is technical knowledge. That's it, okay? That's what you do. Moreover, member subscription account for 25% of the total revenue. I just look at member subscription, I look at total revenue, I divide, I multiply by 100. I can easily do that even when you are writing this with your calculator. That's it. Okay, that's analysis. Then I move to the next paragraph. Again, the revenue realized from examination fee also witnessed a poor performance, where 8.4% decrease was recorded between 2018 and 2017, and 20% decrease between 2015 and 2016. There was however 51% increase in revenue generated from examination fee in 2018 when compared with 2017 accounts. The reason for the decline in examination fee was as a result of the institute's inability to stage its professional exams in 2019 due to government restriction on social gathering. you keep on writing on and on, on and on. So simple because you have done a great job under your analysis. So you see there, so analysis of cost and overheads. The cost is in my requirement. Then I do this. The cost incurred on personnel increased by 5% between 2018 and 2019. The cost also witnessed an increase between 2017 and 2018 and between 2016 and 2017, where 7.4% and 4.4% were recorded respectively. The overall impact, I've told you, you must always mention the impact on operating surplus resulted in a lower margin reported throughout the 5-year period. However, personnel cost was within the budget. Did you see that? Even though it's going up, but it's within the budget. For 2019, as a positive variance of 20.5% was recorded. Also, affiliation costs increased throughout the 5-year period, except for 2019, where the cost dropped significantly by 58.3%. The concession granted, I want to use granted here. So there, I think it's when I was typing, okay? Because as it's coming to my head, I was just typing. But affiliate, in case they tell you in the unseen, probably, the affiliation courses, for example, they belong to IFAC, all this federation, international body, and all of that. Maybe they give them some concession, okay? You might be responsible for the affiliation cost coming down. That's technical knowledge, okay? So that's how you write. That's how you write. That's how you write. You will now do overall performance analysis. So if you have not done your financial statement analysis, the very first trend I showed you, you can't do this performance analysis because it said carry out performance. In your report, evaluate revenue streams. So this is my performance analysis. Here, you will now consider the total revenue. What we have done is to consider all those revenue individually. Here, you now consider everything collectively. The institute recorded a decrease in revenue in 2019 when compared with 2018 performance figures, where a decline of 7.5% was reported. See Appendix 1. Can you remember? The reason for the poor performance in revenue, as earlier stated, was as a result of the rare plague that is ravaging the country. This drop in revenue may continue in future periods if drastic effort or strategy is not put in place to improve on our revenue streams performance. The total revenue generated between 2015 and 2016 declined sharply by 4.7%. However, there was steady improvement in the institute total revenue between this. So that's how you keep writing, okay? Okay, yeah, great. Do you know it was okay? So analysis of operating result and major balance sheet items. So the other one I showed you, So just bring it in. So reasons for recording a deficit in 2019. Like I said, the worst case scenario. So in case you are saying this, the deficit recorded in 2019 financial year was largely due to the institute decision to write off a total of 3.8 million. A breakdown of the write-off shows that, I showed you in the exhibit the other time, okay? Showed that unsubstantiated bank balances comprise a large portion of the write-offs of at 8.8 million. This basically means that these bank balances are carried in our books, but were not found in any bank account. Debt owed by staff amounting to 2 million was also written off. Trade receivables of 3 million was written off as well. The reason for writing off trade receivables was premised on the fact that there has been a significant change in credit quality and the amount may not be recoverable. This means most of the institute fees owed by most of our members over the years have now been written off, and we do not see any possibility of recovering them. Although this debt has been classified as bad and doubtful, they should have been written off in more than one accounting period. That is professional judgment. Okay? It appears though that we have decided to write them off immediately. This appears to be the reason for recording a deficit in the current year. And now come to evaluation of the business proposal, Dunlop Business School. The proposal from the management of Dunlop University Business School to run their online program appears to be a good business opportunity. Incidentally, the proposal seems to be in tandem with our strategic financial plan and the President's quest to collaborate with fellow professional bodies in the country to enhance professional practice. The evaluation carried out showed that the proposal is viable and will assist us in achieving our strategic financial projection. However, one major concern was if the proposal is in line with the mission of our institute. The review carried out showed that showed a net profit of 3.7 million in the first year, with significant increase in the second year, which showed a net profit of net profit of 19.2 million. The business proposal continued to witness, appreciable increase up to the fifth year, where net profit of 58.1 million will be realized. Overall, the business proposal will generate a tuition fee of 208 million for the 5-year period. This implies that the institute will generate the sum of 125 million over the next 5 years, based on 4:6 sharing ratio as contained in Exhibit 6. Therefore, means that if the proposal is accepted, it will assist the institute in achieving the strategic financial plan. As usual, economic conditions may be difficult to predict in Nigeria. The Governing Council will need to take a cautious approach in any forecast revenue result. Likewise, although assessment of business proposal and contribution analysis competent may be relatively straightforward, assessment of long-term operating costs need to be carefully considered. Before making any decision based upon these financial results, we will suggest to possibly see a range of other calculations based upon best and worst case scenarios and where time value of money will be considered. If the project is, however, accepted, it will assist us in achieving our financial projection, but this is not in line with the Institute's mission. They said I should consider risk, commercial, and ethical consideration. Then I put it on. There is no doubt that the business proposal from Dunlop University Business School will help the Institute to achieve its strategic financial plan, but it is crucial to consider risk, commercial, and ethical issues that may arise as a result of the business proposal. Then I talked about erosion of value, microeconomic risk, service failure risk, exchange rate volatility, then ethics. Now let's take a look at ethics. We must consider if our ethical values will be upheld as a result of the strategic plan to run an online program for Dunlop University Business School. There are tendencies that our reputation will be damaged since we are a not-for-profit making organization. The impact of these will be severe on the sustainability of our institute if due consideration is not given to this issue. The state of education, you shall keep writing. Then you make your conclusion and you come and make your recommendation. Obviously, it's going to be in bullet points. Thank you so much for your time. I don't want to pass 11 hour, the 11th, is the 11 mark, how do I call it? Because of we are taking corporate reporting tomorrow and of course advanced taxation. I know it's not really easy to, stay up to this time. So let me release everybody. So thank you so much. I know you have so many questions you want to ask. So let me take a look, maybe in the next 8 minutes, if I can really take some questions. So let me hear your feedback. Okay. Did you did you enjoy the whole thing? Did you enjoy the whole thing? I will do finishing touches on the report. Like I said, as I was just thinking, I was just typing. So that's why you're seeing some, some spellings, mistakes and all of that. So, but I will finalize. I will try before I sleep. By 12 a.m. I should be able to finalize it, and you have it in your mail. So all I want you to do is in the what's it called? In the group chat, send your email address. Okay. So you have both the video and this material, the Preseen, the unseen, and the reports. Okay, you will have everything. So I so much appreciate you. I know you have so many questions that you are wondering. So please, you can chat me up or you can call me. So let me release you guys, especially because of people. Don't put your email here. Put it on the chat. Okay, I won't pick it from here. I'll pick it from the group chat. Okay, I'll pick it from the group chat. So just put it there. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to SCA. This is what most people really been waiting for. And of course, thank God we had a breakthrough at the end of the day. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. I need to rest my head. I need to take some. I need to eat. I've been talking. I can talk to you tomorrow anyway, but then I just need to, take some. I'll try and drink some hot tea before, then I'll come back to report and try to finalize it. Okay, so I'll send it to you. But the report I will release eventually will even be more loaded than this one, because the more I look at the report, the more I make improvement. Okay, so I so much appreciate you guys. My hosts, are you still there? Will you help me to thank my people before we close the class? Don't worry, I'll go through all your questions. Is that okay? I'll go through art. People are putting on their videos now. They want us to see them. Okay. Okay, so I'll go through all your questions, but if you're not still clear on certain issue, okay, maybe you should allow people to put on a video. Okay, if you want to put on your video, it's okay. So let me hand over to my host to thank you guys for trusting FCA to do this for you. You know, it's not really easy, you know, to create an unseen, and you're also writing the report. Okay, but I can assure you that what you're going to see in that exam will not be materially different from this. So thank you so much. We love you all, and I wish you the very best in your exam. So my host, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayomi Ladoku, for the fine way you've dissected this case study. In fact, I'm so impressed by the wonderful turnout of the students, all coming in their numbers, not minding that there is exam tomorrow. In fact, I like the zeal with which you all came out to examine what analysis that we are having in store for you. In fact, it's my hope that all of us, every one of us writing, will come out with flying colors. I know that we are all expecting or expectant of the loaded material, but you know, we want to be very, very cautious. Many of us will want to cram word for word. Many of us will want to even carry to the exam. Please don't do anything that will incriminate you. Take it as a guide to help you write the exam. In fact, I want to appeal to every one of us who are writing CRO tomorrow that please, instead of going back to your books as we end this webinar, go to bed, sleep, so that you can wake up early and get to the exam. Don't get up very late and go to the exam hall. You still have till Thursday to write this exam. And so before that time, those of you who are asking about video, it's not a magic that the video will be ready this night. So just go to bed. The video will be ready before your exam. The material will be ready before your exam. Just take your time. We want to thank you, every one of you, for coming and for making this webinar a successful one. We wish you the best in all your exams. And since you're in the final, we hope that those of us who are writing all the remaining papers that they are having in Ican, we hope to see you as chartered graduates, and we hope to come to your induction ceremony and celebrate with you. Thank you so much. At this point in time, we want to say good night. All your questions, please bring them to the special WhatsApp group. We're not going to be taking any question about this CS analysis outside the webinar group. So that's the bonus you are having. So until we see your question then, it's good night from all of us. Sleep well, and we wish you a happy exam tomorrow.